Alrighty, we are back on a Thursday after no show Wednesday. Back on a Thursday for episode 33. Sean and Spin in the Morning, presented by Off Base Media. Still got my cup of Joe though, and we got a lot to get into. Shawnee, what is today? July 10th, the Thursday. Good little Thursday. How we feeling?
I haven't done a Thursday show in a while, Spin. It feels good. I'm caffeinated. I'm ready to rock.
Fueling up as we speak, baby. What do we get into today? Because this is no need for our What Hot America weekend. That's tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
But today is going to be full of fun.
We're going to talk a little bit about definitely some all-star talk. We're going to do a little draft at the end, so stick around for that. Some derby talk and everybody's favorite time of the year, a little deadline talk.
Ooh.
I think, I don't know why I feel like this. Maybe there's no reason at all, but like, this deadline could be absolutely nuts because I think we've talked about it. This is the first time in a while there's been a lot of teams who need a lot still. A lot of good teams who still need some big pieces. And there's a lot of bad teams this year that actually have some pieces worth selling. So I think it might be a good time. But I guess
it does have the makings of a nice little deadline, I will say. So we'll see how it goes.
But first off, the vibe check, everybody's favorite segment where we recap a little bit about what's going on. And your boy's up first. Big man gone, second baseman, longtime player. At once was a very, very good player. Not so much anymore, but the Yanks, DFA LeMahieu. As you can see there, some notables. He was a batting champ twice. Oh, he was even a Gold Glover a couple times. I did not know that. That's very interesting as well. But kind of the question I want to pose to you, how are you feeling about this?
It's good. It was well overdue, a little overdue, but this is the right move. It sucks because he's he's a good guy. He's been around forever, 15 seasons, had a good career with the Yanks up until probably a few years ago, and whatever. I guess his last good season might have been 20. Maybe there was glimpses of 20 in 2021. No, maybe 21 was good. I don't know. 19 he was a stud. 2020 was when he won his second batting title. So, there's some good moments with DJ. What are you gonna do? But this is overdue. He had to go. That's no secret. Maybe the Rockies scoop him up. He goes back where he came from. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, he has been fighting with a lot of injuries as of late. The past couple of years, I think ever since honestly he got to the Yankees. Correct me if I'm wrong, but he's been dealing with some injuries, lackluster offense. He's getting up there in age, so. You think this is the first step in the right direction for the Yankees? They're like, hey, this guy was a leader here, and maybe even, he's been here for a while, but he's not performing. You guys need to wake the fuck up.
I don't know if it's supposed to be some type of precedence to the rest of the team type of thing. I don't think it's like that. I think it's it was announced that Chisholm's going to be pretty much moving back to second base, and DJ couldn't do third, really. I don't think it was like I felt like he said at what a point. I don't know if it was a direct quote from him, but I think I heard through the grapevine that DJ just wasn't going to be good at third, or his third base wasn't doing it, and he might be 35, whatever the fuck he is, right? So whatever. He's older, so what are you going to do? And he also wasn't producing offensively, so whatever. If Jazz moves back to second full time, and then third base is right now going to be occupied by Peraza. I mean, obviously that's the big hole, so I think it just sets you up for a piece at the deadline, hopefully a big third base piece. Now they did here's something that no one's going to talk about because it's not a sexy move. They did sign Jaime Candelario to a AAA or a minor league deal, AAA I guess, So I guess that's the worst case scenario is that they can call up Jaime Candelario, switch in third baseman who's been around. I don't love him. No one's really going to like him, but at least he's a guy who's had major league experience and a veteran. So worst case scenario, you could bring him up, but best case scenario is probably a Eugenio Suarez at the deadline, which we'll talk about. But that opens up doors for third base. Is the point?
Yeah, so that was the one thing. Like now that Chisholm is now moving back to second, there really it seems like the Yanks are actually going to pursue probably Suarez because he's probably the hottest one on the market right now for third base, and he would fit right in over there in New York. Big power hitter. Not a whole lot else, but
That's what scares me, but I do
yeah.
think it's probably the best move. I know we'll talk more about him, but yeah, look, DJ, you're good career. I don't know if it's officially, it's not a retirement or anything. We can maybe
Mhm.
still see him play again, but what's even fun about watching him play again?
He might do a whole player coach thing. Some of those guys like that who's got a lot of experience have been there, especially in the postseason too. I mean, he's been around in the postseason with the Yanks, so he's got some experience there.
Yeah, but I mean, he's gone.
Yeah, yeah.
Bye
Well,
bye.
next we'll get to a little bit more of a lighter note.
Oh
Jacob
yeah,
Mizorowski
yeah. This guy's
continues to shock the world. He's been unbelievable. I know you wanted to touch on his game log real quick, but before we even start that, like if anybody had any doubts that this guy was going to be good, guess what? He just did it against the Dodgers. Like he just did it against the best hitting team in the entire MLB. So any naysayers or anybody who wasn't believing, I know we don't like to get too high on the young guys real quick because obviously this could just be a flash and he could go downhill pretty quickly. I mean, we've seen it in the past with like a Ubaldo Jimenez who like was unbelievable his first couple of years and then sucked. But like we've seen it in the past, but you got to give him his flowers. If you want to, do you have his stats up right now?
yeah. I mean, 4-1 with a 2.81, so that's nice. But this is where I really wanted to get into because we all knew that his debut was fantastic. Remember, he goes like five scoreless, well, 5 no hit innings
Yeah,
realistically, and then remember he kind of like awkwardly bounced on the mound, like his
yeah,
ankle kind of got weird, so he comes out. But that was his first outing, and all eyes were on him after that. He continues it in his next outing at Minnesota, then at Pittsburgh. Now that Pittsburgh, okay, he should do it against Pittsburgh. They stick, but that was against Skeens, remember? So he actually outpitched Skeens on in that outing. That was 3 starts ago. He pitches against the Mets. That was his first blunder, 3 2/3, 5 earned. But how does he bounce back? Well, he pitches his best outing yet. 6 innings, 1 earned against the Dodgers, 12 strikeouts. So his fastball was electric, and he did that against Kershaw. So he's doing it against. He could go toe to toe against Skeens, who's probably the best young pitcher in the sport. Right, this is Skeens' first full season in the show. He's still very young, so he does it against Skeens there. Um, and then after a bad outing in Queens, he does it against a veteran and out pitches Kershaw. So he's just doing it against everybody. Young guys, old guys, anything in the like. And I thought last outing against the Dodgers, I think this was 2 days ago now. I thought it was his best outing yet. I mean, he goes pretty deep in the game. He had 12 strikeouts. It was against the Dodgers. And the Dodgers have been cold lately, but they're kind of limping on into the All-Star break. It feels like the Dodgers, but still a good, scary team. Are the,
yeah.
aren't the
So
are the Dodgers like 6 games losing streak or some shit?
let me check.
Yeah, they're on a 6 game losing streak.
Yeah, so they're letting those Giants and the Padres kind of stay in the hunt there because the Padres and Giants. I mean, the Giants just won the series against the Phils, but still haven't looked great as of late. Same thing with the Padres. The Padres are not looking good at all. They can't seem to put it together over there. But
I love it. I love
um, I know you love it. Also, while we were talking about Jacob, I wanted to also touch on the NL Central as a whole, pitching wise.
it. Mm.
Brewers, you have Peralta, now you have Mizorowski, and you have a guy like Chad Patrick in your roster. You go over to the Reds, who are stacked. Hunter Green. Now they call up Chase Burns, Andrew Abbott, who's not getting the love that he should. Actually, I think he just replace somebody for the All
He
Star?
he was just a late addition to the All
Cool.
Star
So
game.
he's getting some more love, and even guys like Lodolo and Martinez, and that's a pretty solid staff, man. Um, and then even the Pirates, dude. The Pirates have right now they have Skeens, um, Mitch Keller, who's no slouch. He needs to look good this year, but then also Jared Jones is out for the year. Or is he going to be returning this year or next year? Next year,
Next
right?
year.
Next year. So Jared Jones, you have Bubba Chandler in the organization. He's making his way up as well. So like the Cubs have the worst staff, but are the best team. But they have notable guys too. Who Matthew Boyd just became an All Star, right?
Yep.
Then you have Shota as well. I mean, the pitching in the NL Central, we've always kind of given some slack to these NL Central teams or the Central as a whole because we can never really figure them out. But this is almost going to make it harder because of the pitching staffs that are going to be busting out of this NL Central team.
That's a good point. There are some, and all these young guys. We talk. Cincy just had that young motherfucker come up, right? Burns, you talked about Mizorowski for Milwaukee. The young guys that Pirates have either that have shown promise or up and up like a Bubba Chandler. Even Milwaukee with Logan, his name Logan Henderson, who got sent back
Logan
down,
Henderson, yeah, who got sent back. Yeah,
but when he had his cup of coffee in the show, he did look good. Then we'll see what who the Cubs can continue to roll out, but Cubs are the most put together team. But there's teams on their tail that maybe in the near future start to really have nasty staffs. That is true. These young guys.
and I mean, you even got to give credit to Sonny Gray's a little older, but he's still in that rotation over there in the Cardinals. And then they got one of the best bullpen arms in Helsley as well, which they might not have him by come the trade deadline. But we'll talk about that a little bit more later. But it's cool to see the NL Central's got it right now, pitching wise. Once again, the Cubs are the most put together team hitting wise, and that's showing to be the best with some pitchers here and there. But it's exciting for the NL Central to kind of have this talent that they do.
Yeah, good for you, Central. Way to finally do a little something, something. Because for a while there was like a donkey dick division.
So I'll let you touch on this one because I don't really want to. But Patrick Bailey, the Philly killer. Go ahead.
Yeah, and it's not even like you didn't have to get into the game too much. This was what, like 2 games ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, just a little history here. I mean, Patrick Bailey with that inside the park home run, which it caromed. It was a wicked carom. If you saw it, you saw it. But the first catcher to do it since like the 20s or some shit, 1920s.
Yeah.
I didn't go too deep. They were talking about it like on the Yankee broadcast, and I like jotted it. I didn't really do any research to it. I didn't know how long we were going to really talk about it. But yeah, first catcher to do it since the 1920s, and a kind of a crazy thing to do. We'll talk about a walk-off inside the Parker.
I wonder where the most inside the park home runs have come from. Because I bet you the Giants ballpark has a because with how funky that outfield wall is and everything like that, and how hard it is to play balls off that wall, it's got to be hard.
Yeah, triples alley out there. Plus, you have like the brick wall up top where we saw it the other day, right? It caroms like a motherfucker.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, and it's deep enough out there and right. Well, that's why it's triples alley, right? That right center is deep enough where you can run for days. And it was just crazy to see Patrick Bailey do it because I don't think he's known for his speed, but
he's having a really rough year. That was only his second home run on the year too,
geez.
And he's been having a rough year. And I was a fan of Patrick Bailey back in the day because everybody talked about how great his defense was.
Mm-hmm.
But apparently, and I mean, I think his defense is still good, but his hitting hasn't been great this year.
Yeah, I agree. I liked him too entering this year. I thought he was a good serviceable catcher. I thought he was a good step in the right direction for the Giants. I actually thought he'd be more of I didn't think the Giants would be as good as they were. Right now they're in second place. I didn't think that, but I did think Patrick Bailey was going to be more of a contributor to this team at the beginning of the season. That's for sure.
Yeah, and then while we're on the topic, Jordan Romano is still a piece of shit. I saw a meme of somebody. You know how Rob Thompson sits with his little player card the whole entire time, that little laminate piece of paper. And it's Rob Thompson looking at it going, should I bring Jordan Walker in with his 9 ERA in the bottom of the ninth? Yeah, fuck it. And it's the Phillies, and I wrote this down as well. The Phillies, it's very glaring, and this isn't a hot take, I don't think. Just they need bullpen arms more than they need a bat. I want to go see them get more bullpen arms. I want them to go get a guy in the bullpen more than I want them to get an outfielder. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because the hitting was also atrocious. This series. I can't speak right now, but this series, the hitting was atrocious except for yesterday. They obviously popped off yesterday, but everybody's going to have games like that every now and again. What I'm really worried about is the first 2 games where they looked horrible in every facet, in a sense, especially at the plate. The first game, very, very much so. Now, granted, you don't get a day off. You have to travel. Playing on the West Coast, it's a little different, but still, it was bad. It was really bad, and I was worried about Bryce Harper very much so because he not only did he look bad up until yesterday, but he looked disinterested almost, and that's what was scaring me the most about Bryce. Because we can talk about like Schwarber's not having a bad season, Turner's not having a bad season at the plate, and then like Bohm's even having a pretty good season. Stott's been a little down as of late. We know the outfield situation. JT's declining, but this offense goes when Bryce goes. This team goes when Bryce goes. And that is so important. And he needs to be in the game. And he needs to be like, if we get this version of Bryce Harper that we got yesterday, we went 4 for 6 with 3 doubles and a home run. Our team looks 10 times different than it does any other time. So we need Bryce to be Bryce, basically.
Yeah, I agree. I can't
And
put
that's not
that.
a hot take, and people are going to be like, yeah, no shit. And it's like, but it's so glaringly obvious that I have to say it. It's so glaringly obvious.
Yeah, bullpen is going to be a big thing. I think at least the outfield, yes, if you get a bat, fine, but bullpen, you can't be losing those types of games, especially late in the season. It's bad enough that I mean, you could have took 2 out of 3 from the Giants; it would have been a great
Yeah.
series. But Romano, that sucks dick. Speaking of the Giants, though, let's stay on him with Rafi Devers for a second. This guy's a freak. Just when you thought it was over, he got to change of scenery, and maybe the Giants can kind of get off on a right foot, learn from the Red Sox mistakes, and really just kind of be transparent with the guy. As soon as you thought that, well, he has been cold since joining San Fran, right? I think he would have been an all-star starter at DH, and then for the AL, then he goes to the NL, and he's not on the team right now, and I don't think he deserves to be on the team. Especially the NL is more stacked. I mean, if Turner and Soto aren't there, I know we'll get to our snubs, but I don't think Devers is. For me, he's not. But apparently, they asked him to work out at first base, and he was when he first got over there. Remember, he was pretty high hopes for this guy. He was like, "Oh, I'll do it." They respect me. I will do it. Well, anyway, they brought in one of the former Giant and Gold Glove winning first baseman Will Clark to work with Devers a few days at first base. He had success with that team, and he's a successful first baseman. Devers never showed up to the practices. I think it was like a few day thing. I think it was
There's
only
3 days in a row.
Was it 3 days? So you heard this too?
Blew him off 3 times.
Okay, I wasn't make sure I wasn't crazy because I didn't see any of this on social media. I heard this from Michael Kay on the broadcast last night.
So he blew him off 3 times, and his like quote, which I noted on right there, was awesome. He was like, I don't know what the fuck happened. I said he didn't want to go out and be at first base and be 20 feet in front of their freaking dugout with what went on in Boston. Now he's working with me at first base. He didn't want to have to go through all that bullshit, that press and the media, and I completely understand. But Rafael Devers, next time I'm in San Francisco, your ass will be on the field at first base, just letting you know that. This is just like Will Clark believes in San Francisco. You said he had a tenure there. Like he had a successful career at first base there. He cares about this team. Rafael Devers doesn't give a shit. Like he came over, and in the press, in the media, every time somebody asked him, he's like, yeah, I'll play wherever they want me to. They need first base, I'll play at first base. He was, like you said, he was super happy. He was ready. He was ecstatic. It was a new situation, and he was hyped. Now comes time to nut up or shut up. And Rafael Devers is sitting at home with a box of donuts, not doing shit. It's like he's so deathly afraid. It's like, dude, just do it. They're asking you. They're gonna put a guy who's been successful at first base and work with you. They're not just gonna throw you out there to die and throw you to the wolves and everything. Do you want to win? This is what they need out of you, man. It blows my mind.
Yeah, it is a big hole that they have to fill as first base over there. I mean, and even leading up to the Devers day, I mean, they DFA Lamont Wade, and they do all that. They're making room for a corner infielder that can have a lefty bat and power. They checked off a lot of boxes by bringing in Devers, and now he's basically being a piece of shit. The same piece of shit he was when he left Boston as a piece of shit, and just when you can kind of turn over a new leaf with a new organization, where you're starting your tenure in San Fran kind of as a piece of shit, and they're paying you a lot of money. The only reason you're even in San Francisco is because they picked up your fucking contract.
Yeah. And I mean, this goes all the way back to our first video we made about it, but the fucking entitlement on this guy is insane. It's insane. He obviously does not it's so glaring to me. And I don't know how it's not glaring to other people that he does not give a shit about winning. He does. It's almost like he does not care. Like this is what the team needs. They're willing to put somebody with you to help you with that, and he still won't do it. And it's absolutely shocking. And we talk about it. Do not give us a reason to fucking talk about it. Don't give two dumbasses a reason to sit here and talk about you. And he's given everybody across the MLB a reason to talk about him right
I love it.
now.
Rafi Devers.
Anybody's that got like sitting on a bar stool talking about this shit, they're
Yeah.
talking about how much of a piece of shit you are.
Yep.
Like,
Give us some clicks, Rafi. That's that's thanks
yeah,
for the clicks. I love it. Well, I kind of alluded to this. I mean, you well, first of all, we had Bryce Harper on this list. Might be back. He was 4 for 6 yesterday. You kind of touched on it in your Romano rant. Did you want to get more into Bryce?
no, it's very glaring. Like Bryce Harper was a 0-0 game, and he hits a solo shot, and then the team just starts going. Like when Bryce is doing well, it almost like lets everybody breathe in that lineup because everybody's almost like when you lose your star hitter and your best hitter, you're like scared to make a mistake up there at the plate for some of these guys. I mean, you can see it. And it's almost like, okay, I can take a deep breath. Bryce is kind of doing what he needs to do. We can kind of rely on him. Now guys can take good at bats, take some pitches that, not jump out of their shoes at balls and, stuff like that. So,
Yep. So when Bryce is back, yep, it's obviously means a lot to this team because of what his realistically his role is. He's the leader here.
yeah.
Here's some of the newest additions to the All-Star team. And I kind of alluded to, I don't know if Devers is a snub, but there were some snubs. Maybe he is. I know we'll get into our snubs. But there were, I thought, some snubs, and now they're finally getting their flowers. And by the way, I'm going to put a video on TikTok then, probably at some point today. You know what I'm going to say? I'm going to say, you guys like to fucking go jump out of your shoes, jump out of your socks for these snubs and snubs and stuff. And listen, we're doing our snub team too. But there is something to be said about taking a step back because there are going to be late additions, injury replacements. Like, what do people think that Bregman was going to play this fucking game? Like, like everyone's like nuts. Oh, this guy should have made it there. Well, like MLB actually does a pretty decent job. We've talked about this before of making sure a lot of people do get their flowers. Not to say that there won't be snubs. I still think there are guys that are playing good ball that shouldn't get it. But how about this? Okay, so Trevor McGill got added yesterday. Joe Ryan was announced that he was added, which is good. He deserved it too. Andrew Abbott replaces Yamamoto because this is another thing we talked about it. There's pitchers that aren't going to pitch in the All-Star game because they're either pitching, there's turn in their rotation is going to come and then they can't pitch on the All-Star game. So who replaces them? Well, Abbott's a really good replacement. Give him his flowers. I love that. Bregman's not playing. Well, Caminero comes in and replaces him. McKinstry. A lot of people were pissed that McKinstry didn't make it. They thought they were calling him a snub, and I agree. But he comes in and replaces Jeremy Pena, because Pena's banged up. So these things are going to happen. This is the one I don't. Well, here's one I do get: Robert Suarez for a Chris Sale. Robert Suarez actually would have been a shoo-in if he didn't start fucking up at the end of June.
Yeah.
He really made it difficult to, but whatever. He has a shit ton of saves, so you can give him his flowers. But Chris Sale's right. But this is the one I don't get. So I guess J-Ram's not playing in the game. And Isaac Paredes is the replacement, but for J-Ram? I don't
Yeah,
understand
I don't know what's going on with him. Maybe he's a little banged up. Wants to take. I mean, Wheeler's done it in the past where he just said no to the All-Star game and just wanted to spend time with his family.
Okay, so I guess that's what J-Ram's doing. He's just taking he's using the break as a break. But at least Wheeler's a pitcher. Like he wasn't even playing. There's a good chance that he wasn't even going to pitch. Like J-Ram's elected to start. So I don't know.
Oh, okay. No, he actually. Hold on. It's just a focus on rest and recovery. I mean, they're working the shit out of him. He probably isn't getting any off days right now with how bad that team's doing.
Okay,
I
yeah.
mean,
So hopefully that doesn't start to do stuff with players moving forward. Like I said this before, the last thing you want is for these things to turn into how the NBA fucking turned into. So,
yeah.
this All Star game actually used to mean something. Now it doesn't. They used to play for home field advantage in the World Series. Now they don't do that anymore. So now J Ram, who's a star in the game, and he's gonna say, I'd rather rest. Like I hopefully it doesn't start a trend with a lot of guys. Hopefully it's just like hopefully I'm overthinking it. But either
Yeah,
way, it makes room for Paredes, and he deserved it.
and stuff with McKinstry, like I get he's having. I like him. I picked him up in fantasy and actually both of my leagues this year. He's been having a hell of a year, but the people who made it over him, like they're pretty good. Like you think about it, you have Wilson, Pena, and Bobby Witt. What are you gonna put a fourth shortstop out there? Like probably not. I get McKinstry kind of is a utility guy and can play wherever, so you can kind of pick and plug him. But like also like the third baseman that made it, Bregman hasn't played in a while, but was playing like an MVP before he left. Um, Jose Ramirez definitely deserves to be there. Always deserves to be there in my eyes. And then, I mean, maybe over Jazz, maybe like Jazz hasn't had the greatest. I mean, I think he had a pretty good month of June. Correct me if I'm wrong, but like I think he did. Um, but yeah, there's some people who you like you said you jump out of your shoes, and we do too. Like we're going to talk about our All Star snub teams and kind of agree on it, but there some people are just better than others. It doesn't matter if they're not. It doesn't matter if they're on your team or not. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Um, but at least our snub team is going to include these guys too. And I think there's probably
Yeah.
be other guys that get um, a late nod to the All Star game and get their flowers in a little bit. I mean, we still have one more series in the first half before we cruise into the break. But who would be the next All Star addition that you see
I,
being added to the team?
like I was shocked that. I mean, I get it. Abbott's been having a hell of a year. Like he's been incredible. He definitely deserves to be there. But I was really shocked that Sanchez didn't get it. Christopher Sanchez
Oh,
with the Phils. I was kind of shocked that he didn't get the replacement for Yamamoto. I kind of thought if a pitcher was going to be replaced, it would have been Sanchez, and I still think that will be. Like you said, they're not going to miss their scheduled start just because they're going to the All Star game. So Sanchez might pop in there.
yeah, I like the idea of thinking pitcher here because I think pitchers have a really good shot. I almost wanted to say Seiya Suzuki because what he's been
Oh, that
doing.
is a good one. Yeah,
But I do think it's almost safer to think pitcher. And Christopher Sanchez also is a really good one. And Framber Valdez is not an all star, but we won't have to go too deep because we still have our snub teams to do. So I'll leave some on the table for when we do that. But let's continue with our all star break talk and talk a little bit about the Derby. Here's who's announced. I think we still need two more guys for the Derby, but we
yeah.
obviously know Acuna and Cal Riley went in that order. It was Acuna 1, Riley 2. I think James Wood was the third guy to announce he's doing it. Then maybe to Buxton, to O'Neill Cruz, and then to Junior Caminero. Those are the six that we got. I think that was pretty much the order, but we need two more. Who are we excited about? Who do we want to see join?
So I'm excited to see O'Neill Cruz, dude.
Yeah,
That dude just hits the piss out of the baseball. He's going to be awesome to watch. And those kids in the outfield better be prepared because he
yeah,
might send a liner right there away and he might kill a kid. Like, let's be honest, he might fucking take somebody out because he just hits the living shit out of the ball. So he's who I'm really excited to watch. Um, I think a sneaky guy to join what might be PCA.
mm.
PCA, they could probably convince him they're trying to get him to be a little bit of a face of the league. You know what I mean?
He's just
Like,
a showman.
yeah, and exactly, he's a showman. Like, I could see him kind of like getting talked into doing it. And then also another guy hit 4 home runs in one game earlier this year, Eugenio Suarez. I
Pretty
think
good one.
those are my two that I would like to see. I actually would really like to see PCA in there. I think, like I said before, he's kind of he's a showman. I think it'd be fun for him. He'd probably dye his hair a certain color for the
Yeah,
derby, but
Derby
I
hair.
think I think it would be good to see him there.
I think so. I think Chisholm has mentioned that he would do it, but I don't think
Oh,
they've asked him yet.
yeah,
I don't know if he's like the sexiest guy to do it, because there's guys like you said, Suarez and a whole slew of other dudes that are just not a different type of dude than Chisholm. But Chisholm was fun. He still would put on a show. I think still got a lot of homers for his size and position, and he's missed some time this year. He hit 2 yesterday, so he's still like that guy. But that'd be kind of cutesy if he did it. But I do think that there's better candidates with like raw power. I think Chisholm has good power. I don't think he has raw power the way that some of these guys have. But like you said, I am excited for O'Neill Cruz. I think Junior Caminero could put on a show. Maybe he doesn't, but I think that he could and really make a name for himself. I know he already has made a name for himself. But when you look at some of these younger guys in like the rookie class or the guys who are in year two, I think he gets overlooked in some of these first or second year players. I think he gets overlooked in that class. But O'Neill Cruz would be cool. Acuna's going to put on a fucking show, and he's a hometown
yeah.
kid, so we'll obviously look out for him. But I like your guys, PCA and Suarez. I like your reasoning for PCA and Suarez with raw pop. He's got a shit ton of homers. Why not him? because
And
Pete's not doing it. Pete
my
Alonso
sleeper
does.
to kind of win it, like I think James Wood is gonna demolish some baseballs.
I like that.
I think he's gonna demolish some baseballs. I think James Wood's gonna be there. But what side of the plate you think Raleigh's gonna hit from?
See, that's the question, right? Maybe will it matter on who's throwing to him?
Probably, yeah,
There's been switch hitters in the past, and I don't really know if they do. I would assume Riley might be a natural righty. I don't know. I don't know. But he bats more lefty, so who knows? Who
yeah,
knows? They'll ask him. That's those always the questions that they
yeah.
ask.
They'll see.
All right, so we move on past our vibe check to our snub team.
Snub
So
team.
you have guys written down, right?
Yes, I do.
I have
Um,
guys too. I mean, we can come together and decide who the best candidates are at each one. I'm sure we agree at a huge chunk of these, but we didn't look at each other's yet.
no, we haven't yet. So we have every single position out here. We have 5 starting pitchers, 3 relief pitchers, and we even threw a utility guy in there as well, which I like. We'll spice it up a little bit.
Yeah. Okay. Nice. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Because there's a lot of snubs, so we got to try to build a fucking roster.
exactly. So my first one, I guess we'll start behind the plate. We'll start
Yeah.
behind the
First.
dish.
Yeah. Who do you got?
And I'm going with the rookie out in Boston,
Okay.
Carlos Navarez. That's who I went with. He's been putting on a hell of a campaign. He's been doing pretty damn well over there in Boston. I don't. I think it's fair that he kind of didn't get the pick. If you look at the catchers for the AL, they both deserve to be there. It's what Cal Riley and Alejandro Kirk, who have
Yeah.
been having unbelievable years. But I want to give Carlos Navarez his flowers. He is going to be a catcher in Boston maybe for a while. We don't know with their trades, but they like him over there. So I would decide to throw him on.
Yes, so I'll agree with you with Navarez. To me, I actually had like a couple names here. This is
For the
my most
catcher,
loaded. This is my most loaded position that
really? Who
I
else did
didn't
you
know where to
have?
go. So Navarez was one of them. I did want to shout out Drake Baldwin. We've been kind of high on Baldwin all year, but maybe he's trending down ever so slightly. The power number's not bad on him.
Mm-hmm.
I did mention Carson Kelly, but I'm happy that he didn't make the All Star team.
Because he plummeted a little
He,
bit. You
he
you brought that to my attention a while ago that he started to go on a downward trend there.
Yeah, and he might have been picking it up as of the last few weeks, but I don't I think his All Star shit. You know, if I think Drake Baldwin might have better numbers than him. Now Carson Kelly might have more at bats, but if we're talking NL catchers, I think their numbers are somewhat similar. And then
Mm,
I put in a guy who's banged up, Ivan Herrera, but before he got hurt, he was looking fantastic. He might
it
DH
was.
more than he catches, but
Mhm.
I wouldn't have shouted Ivan Herrera. I do think Carlos Navarez is probably the strongest one,
Yeah,
so
I mean,
we'll agree there.
and we talked a lot about Logan O'Hoppe earlier in the year. He's also kind of went on the downward a little bit.
Yep.
Home runs are there. He's got 17 bombs and 37 ribbies, but like he's only batting 229. So he really had kind of a downward because he started off the year hot because we were talking about him as one of the better catchers in the AL. But
Yep.
so I think Navarez kind of gets the nod there.
I think it's you should carry 2 catchers for the All-Star games. That makes
Mhm.
sense. And then Navarez is probably the 3rd best catcher in the AL. So
Yeah.
sucks that he doesn't make, but whatever. He's still young. I think he should be the snub team catcher for sure.
So we'll go 2 to 3. Who's your first baseman spin?
Michael Bush.
Yeah,
Do we
I
agree
think
there?
it's plain and simple. It's got to be Michael Bush. Everybody was up in arms about this guy not making the team, and at first I was kind of like why? And then I looked at his numbers, and I was like, damn, he actually kind of deserves to be there.
Yeah, he really does. 297 looks good on him with the homer numbers. There's a decent chance he could have 20 homers before the break. He's at 18 right now with one more series to go. So we'll see. But yeah, he's having a career year. He's having a career year, and sometimes you like to see guys get rewarded for having these career years. He unfortunately will not be, but he's on our first place Cubs team. The whole offense is spectacular. He might not be the only Cub we mentioned for this team because they have a lot of really. We already mentioned Carson Kelly for catcher, but he doesn't deserve it. However, the first baseman does, Michael Bush. I can't think of another one, but I don't know who he would make it over.
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't know who he would make it over either, but I do think he does need to get a little bit talked about a little bit more than he has been because he has been spectacular.
All right, second base. So second base a little hard. I had maybe 2 names here at least.
Yeah, so I went with. I'm kind of second guessing myself a little bit more here because I want to go. I'm going to go Jackson Holiday.
Ooh, Ooh,
I'm
he
gonna go
did.
Jackson Holiday.
He made it far. He made it far in the voting.
Yeah, I want to kind of give Jackson Holiday his flowers because everybody he didn't have a great rookie campaign. He didn't. Um, then he started off the year really slow, and people started wondering, like, is Jackson Holiday actually going to be a you know a staple on this team for a while? And he's having to put together a pretty good year. He's lacking the RBI category. He's only got 38, but he's got 12 bombs, hitting 263 on the year. So nothing that's going to jump out at you. But he's had a solid year so far.
Okay, so this is where going to be our first conflicting position. I didn't have Jackson Holiday on my two guys. Maybe I should have gave him a little bit more love. He probably would have been my number
You
three.
probably have my 2 and 3.
I like Terang and Nico Horner, and
Okay, that was my 2 and 3. I
I
had
lean
three
Terang.
guys for the second base.
Okay,
You took Terang.
I have Terang and Horner. I'd lean Terang out of the two for my
Okay,
second baseman.
because I was leaning Horner actually.
Out of those two
Yeah,
guys.
out of those two guys. But I settled with Holiday.
Okay, so we're gonna have conflicting guys here.
But
Should
he
we?
had I mean, Tarang's had. I don't want to take anything away from Tarang because he's had. They both have very, very similar numbers. Tarang's beating him in the home run department, but 16, 17
Oh,
stolen bases, both hitting above 280. Tarang right at 280. Uh, Tarang's got 5 bombs. Horner's got 3. They're very similar numbers. I just think Horner plays a little bit of a better glove.
okay. Well, if your guy's Jackson, though, I think we got to compare Jackson to Terang.
Yeah,
Sorry, Nico, but you're getting snubbed from our snub team. Well, so here's the thing with Jackson Holiday: 38 ribbies with 12 home runs. Terang with 5 home runs is also 38 ribbies. But his big thing is not going to be the power department. He's going to be a stolen. He had like 40 something stolen bases last year. Terang,
yeah,
and now he comes out that was his coming out party last year. Now he's continuing to do it in the stolen base department, hitting 280. That's one of the things that jump out to me. Uh,
he's hitting it.
Plays a Gold Glove second base as well.
Yeah, we'll, you know what? Let's give it to Terang. We'll give it to Terang. His numbers are slightly better with that 280 looks hot. And then what, 18 bags stolen?
17, 18, whatever it was. Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll give it to him while he plays a very good second base on the defensive side of things too. Holiday's gonna be there though, I think.
Holiday could probably start one day.
Yeah, and I think Holiday is trending in that direction. He's still young. He might be like 23.
He's got the fans on his side too. They want to see him do well. He made it far. His team stinks, so that sucks. Terang
Oh,
plays
dude,
Gold
Jackson
Glove.
Holiday's 21.
Oh wow.
So he's in my eyes, he'll definitely be there one day.
Okay, so now that Paredes and Caminero were announced for third base, who's your third baseman now? Gets a little more
Mikhail
split.
Garcia over
That's
there
who
in Kansas City.
I didn't really have anyone else. I thought he
Yeah.
was a snub before the other third basemans were announced. I thought he was a good guy to have. No one was really talking about Michael. Love that.
Austin Riley isn't there, right?
No, he's not.
He's really the only other one I can think of that you're like, yeah, maybe him. But Mikhail Garcia's batting 305 this year. He's got 18 stolen bases. Like he's and with 8 bombs and 40 ribbies. Like we talk about how lackluster that Royals offense is. It's not because of Mikhail Garcia. He's killing it.
If you wanted to put Riley, like if someone's going to sound off and make a case for Riley, it's not a bad case. But I do think Michael Garcia is the better guy
Mm-hmm.
for sure.
I think
Well,
that's
shortstop's easy.
yeah. It's Trey freaking Turner.
Oh, I was going to say Volpe.
Yeah, shut the fuck up.
It's Trey. It's Trey. I don't know if we even have to make a case for him. I can see him making it too at a certain point. But what are you gonna do? Our snub team is happening today on Thursday the 10th. So if he makes it on the 11th or 12th, well, what are you gonna do? It's much deserved then.
Yeah, I hope so because he does deserve it. He's been getting a lot of slack, but he's been playing a really good. He's been hitting the shit out of the ball this year. He's been a big reason we're winning so many games and like haven't been absolute dog shit.
He leads the league in hits. No,
Leads the NL in hits. I think he's behind Judge still.
that's who I know. We said that. So yeah, I guess he's leads the National League in hits.
Hold on, I have it pulled up. Let me look.
Well, still, you could just say the league and not specify
Yeah,
what
he's
league.
actually dude. It's kind of crazy. He's 11 hits behind Judge right now, which is nuts. Yeah, his numbers are incredible. He's leading the NL by a large Dude, a large margin. The next closest person's Austin Riley with 102, and Trey's got 111 in the
Well,
NL.
MLB always hates the hit guys. Listen, I got
Yeah,
this guy's number one on the all-time hit list, and he gets shit on, and then this guy's number six on the all-time hit list, and he gets shit on half the time too. So,
it's a power league now. They hate our guys, dude. They hate our guys.
well, okay, let's go to outfield. I think there's three obvious outfielders,
See, I think
maybe
there's
four.
two. I think there's two obvious outfielders, and then I put a sleeper in for the third.
I like that.
So my first one, Soto. Soto
Okay,
obviously came out of the gate in June, crushing the freaking baseball. He had a down first half, and guess what? His down first half was still better than 95% of the MLB. You know
that's
what I
true.
mean? Like, and then he actually started. Like, he's batting 269. He still has 21 homers and 52 RBIs. Like this, he's still top 10 in home runs for outfielders across the whole entire league. 269 looks pretty good on him considering he was sitting around like 220 for most of the year. So he's obviously been crushing the freaking baseball. I would give it to Soto. Who's your first?
I'll go with Soto also.
My second would be Springer. They're sitting at the top of the AL East, and a big reason because of it is because of how well Springer has been doing. I think Springer definitely deserves to get talked about a little bit more. 16 bombs, 53 ribbies, and he's hitting 280 as well. So I think that's also somebody we have to talk about.
I got George Springer in there also. Where our outfield right now is same page.
Okay, so here's my third, and it was a toss up. I didn't know who I wanted to give it to.
Oh,
They're both on the same team. They're both in the AL.
oh, AL.
They're both in the AL. They're
Oh,
not
that's
LA. It's not LA.
uh,
Going over to the Houston Astros.
Jake Myers getting some love.
Jake Myers, yes, but also I wanted to give a shout out to Cam Smith because I think Cam Smith has put on a very, very good year, hitting 286. He's lacking in the home run and RBI department, but he's been asked to play like a whole brand new position this year, hitting 286. He's definitely going to be an all-star to come. He's seventh in average of all outfielders across the whole entire MLB. Meanwhile, the other guy, who actually is my pick, Jake Myers, hitting 308 on the year. Plus three average guy, ranks second right now in average amongst all outfielders, and probably in the league. I want to say he's top 10 in average. So I wanted to give Jake Myers a little shout out for my third outfielder.
Okay, so I'm with you with Soto and Springer. I think you missed a guy, Andy Pajes, who
Did
could have.
he didn't get? I thought he was on the roster.
No, he's a. I mean, double check me.
No, you're
Don't.
right. Yeah, he didn't get it. Oh,
Um,
because they had to give Stowers it.
well, someone's got to go. So I think Pajes, people couldn't make a case for him to start. I think at a certain point in the second round of voting, I think I voted for him to be a starter.
Yeah, you're right. It's Pajes. So I thought
Um,
I thought he was on the roster. That's why I didn't put him.
well, but I like and this I mean, I like the respect for Jake Myers, who got absolutely no love with this, and he's a bit of stolen base guy, good batting average. Really like it. I have not kept up with Cam Smith's numbers at all. I'm writing half these guys down because I mean, holy shit, there's so many guys we could put a bench in. But
Yeah,
here's a guy that people have been talking about also is Rafaela out there in Boston.
yeah, they've been making a huge case for him.
What does he look like? Hitting 264, 12 bombs, 11 stolen bases. I don't know if that's
I think that
uh,
264 looks real good on him because he was having I think along with the rest of Boston was having a rough start to the year.
I will give another. Yeah, I think he was, and I'll give another shout out. This guy's trended down a little bit over the past week or two, but TJ Friedel has been had a good first half. 278, only 8 homers, 9 stolen bases, so not good enough to make the snubs team. But at a certain point in the season, he was hitting like 290, so that 278 is actually a bad 278. But Friedel having a good little season. He leads off for them. And he's one of their, they're over 500. He's one of like Ellie De La Cruz and a lot of the young pitchers and the studs get a lot of love. I think we forget about Friedel. Good little season, but not going to make it. I don't think Rafaela makes it. I kind of like more the Jake Myers if we were to have a fourth outfielder. But I think Springer, Soto, Pajes is the kind of definitive three.
Hmm.
And I also think there's a definitive DH.
Yeah, it's Suzuki.
Yeah,
I mean, he leads the league in RBI still, doesn't he?
I think so. I don't know who's touching him.
Oh no, he doesn't anymore. Never mind.
Well, the NL, no.
No, Wood does.
James.
Yeah. Where is he? Look up how many. Oh wait, hold on. Never mind.
No, no.
Yeah,
Say it
he
does.
does. He's tied with Judge. But he leads the NL by a, and then Alonso's in second with 75. So let's see, all one two. So wow, Geraldo Perdomo's been having a pretty sneaky year there too.
Yeah.
I just saw his. I'm looking at his 267, only 10 bombs, but 64 RBIs. Damn. But yeah, Seiya Suzuki, 77 ribbies, 25 bombs, hitting a solid 259 for the number one over there in the NL Central. I was shocked when he didn't get it. If that Schwarber got the backup DH position over him, I was absolutely shocked.
Yeah. Great. Yeah. I don't. They're hating on Say. I don't know, but whatever. I think he's the definitive DH here. I don't know why I put a utility guy. Do you have a guy for utility? It could be one of the guys
It's not really a utility guy. He only plays two positions.
Who?
CJ Abrams.
Does he even play two positions?
He played a little second base, I think, for the Padres. When Tatis was at short, I think he played a little second base coming up because they figured, Tatis is our shortstop of the future. We're gonna move this guy around, kind of thing. But this was more me wanting to give Abrams some credit where credit is due because he's been having a very, very good year so far. Let me see if I can find his stats real quick. He started. Go ahead.
I'll roll with CJ for utility.
Yeah, so he started off late in the year, right? CJ Abrams has been 287 on the year. He's got 12 bombs, 31 ribbies, but 19 stolen bases as well. He's not too great in the field. He makes a couple errors here and there, but he's been having a pretty good year as well. So I just wanted to give him some flowers and some love as well.
I can roll with CJ there. I didn't know if you were going to make a case for Cam Smith for this one.
Yeah,
Or
too,
even
yeah.
like, I don't know, some of the guys that we snubbed for second base or whatever the fuck. But either way, it depends how you look at utility. Like when I think of utility, I think of like fantasy utility. Anyone can play there, so fuck it. He's almost just like an extra dude. So yeah, I'm fine with CJ. Also, I did have him kind of on my list here, but I didn't even have a utility. I don't even know why I wrote that, but CJ's a good one. Okay, let's go to our five. Plus, it's also a little bit of star power too. Like I guess a little bit more sex appeal than maybe like a Cam Smith. But Cam Smith, a true utility and a stud.
Yeah, young bucks. We love it. We love seeing the young guys doing well.
Because Horner could have been there too.
Yeah.
Holiday. But again, star power, CJ, and I think his numbers are better. Okay, let's do starting pitching. I have a good little five. Let's see. Lead us off with a name.
So my first one is Christopher Sanchez.
Okay.
He's my number one. My number two, I went with two Phillies guys. I'm a homer. What can I say? I wanted to throw Ranger in there as well because besides the first couple starts that Ranger has, he's been lights out ever since. Like he's been unbelievable. Then I wanted to shout out your guy over in Kansas City, Seth Lugo. Wanted to throw him, give him the nod in there as well.
Ooh.
I thought he's pitched his way to be. I don't think he's an all-star, but I think he could be like a replacement if a couple. I don't think he deserves to be there as much as the other guys, but I wanted to give him some love. Then we got Framber Valdez. I wanted to throw in there. I think he kind of deserves to be there.
We're definitely putting that name on.
And then Nathan Eovaldi.
And we're definitely putting that name on because those are the three those are the three that we both had. I just didn't have Ranger or Seth.
Okay.
However, one of my spots was Joe Ryan, who got replaced, so I had a spot to fill.
Yeah,
I did have a spot to fill. I did have Senga on this. Now he was a little bit banged up, but I mean, listen,
Kodai, that is a good one.
But he wasn't the only guy to get banged up that made a fucking team. So, he might be the only guy that got banged up that has a 1.47 ERA.
They can't really use the banged up. I would say maybe it's the lack of innings because I think he wasn't even going deep when he was pitching.
Yeah, but I still think he had his fucking innings. I mean, let's see what he had before he got banged up. I know he didn't have. He still has 73.2 innings, which isn't going to be the sexiest compared to some of the big innings eaters. I know that was always the case with him, but he was coming up like right there. I mean, how many starts has he missed? Like two or three? He'd probably be around 90 by now.
Yeah, you're probably right. Um,
Like he wasn't like that far off. I just don't think for like an ace, he like Skeens or the Scoobles, the Skeenses, the Crochets, like he just doesn't compete with like the big horses. But I still think he wasn't like terrible.
yeah, you can't like really we can't really use the injury thing when Bregman made it because
Yeah,
Bregman only played like what the first 2-3 months.
yeah, maybe 2 months. I mean, yeah, I mean even Sale, even like so if we're
Yeah,
comparing pitchers. So yeah, that's what I mean. Like it's like they gets a little bit banged up, but I don't think that's not really enough to hold me back. You also have to have stellar numbers if you are going
yeah.
to be a banged up guy because they didn't show Ivan Herrera any love. If there's chances are if he stayed healthy, he maybe makes a little bit of a push.
What about his strikeouts? What are Kodai's strikeouts at right now?
Let's look through. What did we say? 73 and 2/3 innings. He's got 70 Ks.
So he's lacking a little bit there too.
I don't know. It's 70 Ks through 73 and 2/3.
Oh well, yeah. When you put it like that, that's pretty damn good. We can give it to Kodai. Who are we gonna give it over? Lugo
Or
or Suarez?
well, let's put it over Lugo for now.
Well, let's look at Rangers numbers too. Ranger right now is 7-2, 1.99 ERA with 73 strikeouts.
So he has similar innings. So he has 77 innings with 73 K. Here are the other names I had. I don't know if these are any better, but Molly, Rasmussen, and Rodon also come to mind.
Mm-hmm.
I think Ranger's probably the best out of all of them, right?
I would say yes. Rodon's had a pretty good year though. You want to give him some. What's Molly look like, dude?
He's banged up also, but
Yeah, we were talking about him a lot, but Evaldi definitely deserves to be there out of that rotation. I think.
yeah, when Degrom's already there, and then we have Ivaldi on our snub team, we don't need another fucking Texas Ranger. Even though so Molly's a good comparison to Ranger because he also has 77 innings, but only 56 Ks with a 2.34.
Mm-hmm.
So 6-3. So okay, we'll definitely take him out. Rasmussen, I just wanted to fucking show some love to. He's been very good, but I think he's actually more so being an opener, being used as an opener as of late. So we'll keep him out of it. Just want to show him love, and then let's look at Rodon who was the ERA goes over 3. And listen, it's not a 3-3 is not like the end of the world. He has 9 wins, 127 strikeouts, and
Yeah.
111 2/3. Like so, there's some big motherfucking power pitcher numbers here, or just dominant pitcher stuff, big K numbers, innings eater, horse type bullshit. But I'm sorry, the 3.3 ERA, despite he has more innings, I know he has more innings in and a shit ton of strikeouts, but something about having a 3.3 ERA when you're kind of in the middle of these guys I know the innings are there, but I'm leaning. I'd lean Ranger over Lugo and Senga over Lugo also.
Same. So now it's Sanga Ranger, or would that be our five?
Yeah, Sanchez, Valdez, Evaldi, Senga, Ranger.
I like that. I like that five. I'd put
Yeah,
that five up there.
I'd put that 5. I think that's a good 5. Pitchers, there's a lot of pitchers, so to come to a consensus on pitchers could have been a lot harder. But you know what? There's got to be some difference makers, and it's good that Joe Ryan made it because I would probably be making a more of a case for Joe.
Yeah, he does. He does. Kodai. One thing we do want to touch on, why you brought it up is we love keeping the apple in the hole. We
Yeah,
don't. We like keeping the apple in the hole, but we do got to give Kodai some love because if he could ever stay healthy for a full year, he's a dominant freaking pitcher, man.
Kodai's good. Yeah,
He's a dominant pitcher. I mean, they weren't so his game log this year. They didn't they didn't send him too far in most of the games. Like I don't think he ever got out of the fully completed the seventh. You know what I mean? But once again, he was coming off a big injury last year. But for
yeah.
him to come out and have the numbers that he does, we got to give him like 7-3, 147. Yeah, that's a damn good with over what was it 73 innings pitched with 70 strikeouts. Yeah, we got to give him some love.
Respect Kodai. There we go. Let's go to relievers. A little hard because relievers are weird.
We could be all over the place with this. I
Yeah,
talked about
we
this
are.
guy. I
We are.
talked about this guy a lot previously, and he's with the Brewers, but it's Uribe with the
Ooh, okay.
Brewers.
Let's
One,
look into him.
he's had some good, a good. Let me see real quick.
Okay, Abner.
Yeah, Abner Uribe. He's looked damn good this year.
I know
Uh,
you like Abner. You sneaky like the Brewers.
I do. I told you. I liked the Brewers at the beginning of the year this year.
You always like them.
Yeah, I told you, man. I know, but obviously, I like him in the regular season. I hate him in the postseason.
Well,
But
they don't do
Uribe's
anything.
been a pretty good setup man for them. 2.01 ERA with 60 strikeouts on the year. Looked pretty damn good. Uh, but then also, definitely have to give him a flowers to Estevez over there in
Okay.
Kansas City. Uh, he's save wise. What is he at save?
I think he just got one last night also.
25 out of 28 save opportunities. I mean, and with a 2.03 ERA, he's got the second most saves in the entire MLB. I think he has to be on the list.
Wow.
But
Yep,
then
yep.
also, I didn't know who I wanted to put because a lot of these other closers, like when you talk about Hoffman, he's got 22 saves, but he's got a 4.46 ERA.
Mhm.
Clase hasn't been himself either. He's got 19 saves, 3.12 REI, which isn't bad. 3.12 isn't bad, but for a closer, you want that beat a little bit lower, in my eyes, I think. So I went with Kyle Finnegan.
Ooh, so you went a couple of closers here. I'm not mad at Finnegan.
18 saves on the year with a 2.43 ERA.
So I was with you. We are in the same boat in terms of after Estevez. I don't know what other closers have that really good like low ERA, a lot of saves type of thing, right?
Yeah.
So I didn't even go that route with my next two. I agree. So we both had Estevez. I didn't have Abner or Finnegan. I think Finnegan's probably another really good one if we're gonna go the closer route. But I did go two setup men. Um, a guy who here's the guy that you've been talking about a lot is Brian Abreu.
Yeah, he's been damn good this year as well.
Um, he is a 1.52 ERA, 41 in the third innings. Let's compare that to Uribe. So a
Mm-hmm.
1.52 and 41 in the third, where Abner has a 2.01, a few more innings, 44 2/3. So that gets a little close. And then I also have Dennis Santana
Oh,
for
for the Pirates.
a 1.6 ERA, 39 in a third innings.
Oh, I like those. I like those. I like both of those actually. I like Brian Abreu a lot. That's a good one. That's one
So
I forgot about. I think he definitely deserves. We should put him on our list definitely.
and then it becomes a toss up between Dennis Santana, Uribe, and Finnegan. Finnegan's
So
the
for
closer if
me,
you want to value closers. His ERA
yeah,
is going to be a little higher than these guys. Uribe and Dennis Santana are some of the best. They're
setup.
similar guys. They're similar guys. Yeah, they're some of the
Yeah,
best setup guys in the show, along with the Bray.
let's give it to the guys in Pittsburgh.
They don't get any love.
Let's give it to the guys in Pittsburgh. Let's give it to Dennis. Dennis Santana is going to be a hot commodity come the trade deadline. So let's give it to Dennis Santana.
All right, Dennis. Well, there you go. You're on our snub team because they get no love. They get no love in. It's weird that there's like what are the closers? I know we'll do it. We have like our little draft board and shit. We'll look at it more in depthly, but weird that there's not like a whole fuck ton of closers that it's just like a crop of closers. Like I don't even know.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about it all year how the bullpen's been a down year.
I
I
guess because
mean,
I guess there's like a very obvious 5 to 6, and then after that it's just and this is like in all of baseball, not just in one league. Like
yeah,
five
no,
or
we're
six,
not just talking about the All Star. Like even
like
like Robert Suarez, he's got the most saves of, but he's sucked dick lately.
yeah, and I would put him as my in a top 5 or 6. I think there's like
Yeah.
5 or 6. But I don't know if you can make a strong top 10.
So what do you say? We go probably. Let's think about it. So Hader definitely.
Hater definitely.
Meagle, you probably have to throw in there from the
I
Brewers.
think he's been so good, and he's an all-star, so we'll give him a little
Munoz with the
Munoz.
he's been lights out.
Yeah,
Estevez, you probably throw in there 4.
sure.
I mean, you have to, right? 203. He's at around a 2.
Yeah, I just don't know. Yeah, I'd put him. I'd put him in. I'd put him in. I like him a lot.
And then, like, what? You put Class A in, even though he's had a down year?
I don't think Class A. I mean, I'd value Chapman.
Fuck. Do we have to put Edwin Diaz in there?
and Edwin,
Shit.
and those are probably your six, unless we missed
Yeah.
somebody.
What about like
Because I'm not putting Clase.
How's Felix Bautista been this year?
Oh, he's been pretty good. That's a good pull. I think maybe he would be a 2.48 with 17 saves. So he's almost like on that next tier with like the Finnegans, the Houseleys, and Felix. It feels like are like on that tier.
Oh, you know who we're also not talking about? Who's the closer for Tampa Bay?
Oh, Fairbanks, but do you like him?
Not really, but I mean, I think he's had a good year.
Let's see. He might be a tier 3 closer. 2.27 with 15 saves. Okay, maybe if he finds himself in that second tier. I don't know if he's top 10.
But then, like, do you throw Hoffman in there because he's got a lot of saves, but he's got like a 4.4.
Ooh, I hate that ERA.
Yeah, that's horrible for a closer.
I hate that ERA.
But he's
Yeah, so it gets tough.
I'll look it up. I'll look it up right now. Hoffman's got 22 saves right now.
I think he probably finds his way in tier 2, maybe 3. Back end of tier 2.
And then, like, dude, there's a lot of names. There's a lot of big names that you can talk about closer, but haven't like Johan Duran, Twins. Maybe he hasn't just gotten a lot of opportunities because they've sucked recently. You
Yeah.
know,
I
like,
like him. I don't even hate I like the way that Bednar's cleaned up his fucking season.
yeah, true.
But
Bednar too. Bednar's
but
perfect. I think. I think he's 12 for 12.
is he?
Let's look. I got MLB.com up right now. 12 for 12.
Ooh, David.
What about your boy Devin?
So yeah,
486.
and Devin Sneaky gets shit on. What's his ERA? 4.86. That's
Yeah.
actually kind of good. It's actually kind of good. Um, um, yeah, but he gets shit on too. I don't think he's actually blown that many opportunities as much as people think. He might be like 13 for 14 in save opportunities. Do you have it up there?
Yeah, I gotta find him. 13 for 14. You're right. Yeah.
Yeah, so he's not like he's blowing shit out the wazoo.
But then,
But
like, Mason Miller would have been a tier 1 last year. He's like tier 2
another
this year.
guy, yeah,
Yeah.
maybe even less. To be honest, what's his ERA? We still like you, Mason. He's a 4.41 and 17.
4.41. Yeah. 17 of 20 save opportunities. Yeah. ERA could be better.
We still love you, Mason. It's cool. But yeah, that's what I mean. Like, I think it's pretty obvious 5, 6 closers in the tier 1. Not all of them are all-stars because Estevez isn't. Then you kind of go to your tier 2 guys, and I think it's not a huge drop off, but I mean, to have the shit ton of saves and a sub 2 ERA, maybe 6 is a lot. I don't know. I feel like there was a time when not that long ago when every closer was, and how about this? Say Mason Miller was doing it, and Clase was doing it, and Devin Williams was doing it. Well, now that we just go from 5 to 6 to like a very clear 9 or 10,
Yeah. I
or
mean,
8 or
you
9.
used to be scared when people like, so yeah, like the three you just said, when those three guys, like Class A came in, you're like, all right, the game's over.
Yeah.
And then, like, even Devin Williams, too. Like, that was another one.
Well, there was a time last year. Clay Holmes was an all-star closer this time last
Even
year.
like, who's San Francisco? Camilo Duvall.
Oh yeah,
He
he's a
was,
good one.
and he was also another one that you were like, I mean, it was a very short period of time, I think. I don't think he had a very long.
I still think he's good. Well, how about Tanner Scott was an all-star last year? He's kind of not
He's
been.
been hurt all year.
I don't think Scott's been hurt. Scott. I don't know how. He's 42 innings. He's been around. 18 saves.
Henley Jansen.
Oh yeah, Kenley. What if he would have got the legend pick for the AL?
Well, he's probably got another year in him.
I think so too.
He's
But
probably got another year in him.
he could have got the legend pick.
That's some good closure talk, because there is, like, you would say, like, 3 tiers to it. Like, there are levels to this shit.
Yeah, there's probably like 5 tiers. We just don't know. We don't speak about the fucking
Yeah,
other
and
guys.
all the 5 tiers are sitting on the Phillies right now.
Yeah, that's like Romano's probably tier 4 or 5, but he used to be an all-star closer too. So either way, that's where we're at. That's our stub team. So we'll post these. So should we recap it really quick?
Yeah. So at catcher, Carlos Nevares. First base, we're going Michael Bush. Second base, we went Bryce Terang. Third base, Mikhail Garcia, who's Michael Garcia, who's had a damn good year. Trey Turner at short, obvious pick. Outfielder, we'll go left field Springer, center Pages, right Soto. DH, Seiya Suzuki, the RBI leader, tied with Judge right now. Utility, giving some love to a young buck, CJ Abrams. Then starting pitching, got some notables on the staff. a couple of lefties in Sanchez and Valdez. Righties, we got some Evaldi, Senga, and then another lefty to bring up the five hole with Ranger Suarez, Ranger Danger, Mister Rager. How you doing? Um, then we get to our bullpen. Went with three notables: Carlos Estevez, save machine; Brian Abreu, a beautiful setup man, and then our 7 inning guy, Dennis Santana.
Ooh, that's a strong team. So we'll post that shit and we'll see what people have to say.
Yeah,
Until then, we got a lot of trade deadline talk to do.
we do. So we listed here. Who would you get this from? This was off the network, right?
This is from the network.
The network. Okay, so they listed 10 notable guys who have been talked about a whole lot this season, who might be on the trade block. Where you think they're going to land? We're going to start with the guy who's been on the trade block for the past 5 years, Sandy Alcantara. Now I don't know how many people are going to want him anymore. He hasn't looked great this year. He's shown signs, but do you think this is the year Sandy finally gets moved, or do you think he still is wearing a Miami Marlins uniform at the end of the year?
So the only reason he won't get moved is because he just hasn't been pitching well, and if they might take their gamble and say if we keep him next year and he pitches better, we can get more for him. So try to raise his trade stock, keep him around, and then get more bang for your buck in 2026. But I don't hate him going. I think a change of scenery is what he does need, and I think the Cubs need pitching, and I don't hate to see him in Chicago. I really don't.
Actually, that was my number one. I was going to ask, do you think the Cubs go and get this guy? Because Cubs obviously need starting pitching. It's their most glaring hole, per se. Maybe their bullpen a little bit too, but Sandy, you could probably get him for nothing now too. I mean, the Marlins might be at the point where they're just like, we need to get rid of this guy.
Well, that's why they'd hold on to him. Like, if you're going to get him for nothing, then they're going to say, "Fuck it, let's at least try to keep him around and then get him for something next
Yeah,
year."
you could be
But
right.
that's the only reason they'd hold on to him. Other than that, his time is up with them, and everyone knows it. But I'd love to see the Cubs get him this year. It's just a matter of is Miami going to be kind of try to set themselves up for the future better. I still think you can get a lot for him, but if they can't get the right price, then they'll hold on for him. Or hold on to him with they But everyone has a price, and we'll see if the Cubs can shoot their shot. I think they will shoot the shot, but it depends how stern Miami's going to be. I'd love to see the Cubs get him, though. I think it's a great
Yeah,
fit.
I think that is a great fit. So next one, we get to another veteran, probably the best third baseman in our lifetime. Huge. I know you're a huge fan of him, but Nolan Arenado over there with St. Louis. Now this is an interesting one to me, at least, because right now where the standings are, let me take a look real quick. The Cardinals are not far out of the playoff race. They're only at 1.5 games back out of the wild card, so they still could make a push. This is just how the front office sees it. Like, do they want to hold on to Arenado and make that push? Do they want to be buyers, or do they want to say, "Hey, we don't have enough to go win a World Series this year. Let's get rid of some of our veterans. We have some young talent in our organization right now. We might be able to get something for Arenado." So if he were to get traded, where do you think he would end up?
Well, I don't like the way you phrase that. I don't think he gets traded.
You don't think at all?
No, I think he stays in St. Louis. I just think I don't even know a good spot for him. I don't even know who would want him. He's a very expensive guy who, and Arenado's my favorite player in the league. And it sucks to say this. He's been my favorite player for years now, and I just don't think he's like on pace to hit like 20 home runs. His average doesn't look good. So for a guy who's really, he can still do it defensively, but for a guy who's really only going to do it defensively now, maybe a change of scenery is good for him. Maybe in a better, in a smaller ballpark, more hitter friendly ballpark, he can find it again. I don't know. You can make all these excuses, but like for a guy whose his main claim to fame is going to be defense, he's going to be very expensive. I just don't see. I just don't see him going anywhere. I don't even know who's going to want him. I really
This to
don't.
me has the Yankees written all over him if they can't get Suarez.
I wouldn't hate that. I wouldn't hate that. I could see him. Yeah, like I said, hitter friendly ballpark could maybe give him a little bit of pop. Uh, I don't know. Yeah, I don't hate that. I don't hate that. But I just don't see. I don't know if the Yankees how much they're going to want an older guy like that. I don't know. Not that Suarez is young. I don't know. I don't know. I think he stays in St. Louis.
I don't hate that either. I think they like him a lot there. Um, He obviously, like, with a younger team, he gives a little bit of a veteran presence there. So if they wanted to
Yeah.
make a run, they wanted to make a push at the postseason, they're gonna want to hang on to him.
I guess, and I don't even know how big of a contributor he is. I don't know who you'd get for him. It's not like you trade Arenado and then it's like, oh, we can be like huge, like be all in. It's like I don't know what you would really get, and you kind of just be trying to get it from some prospects, or and I don't even know what the fuck you get for Nolan. And I hate to say it, I love Nolan, but he's not the same Nolan he once was.
Yeah, I mean you're right. And he was awesome watching growing up, though. It was
Oh,
sick.
I mean, love the fuck out of him.
Yeah. So now, move on to the boys out in Pittsburgh. IKF, he's going to be a hot commodity. He's been having a decent little year. There's a lot of teams that need bats. I think he plays all over the place. I'm pretty sure too. Like
Yep.
he is a utility guy. I think he gets traded. I'm assuming you think he gets traded too. Where do you think he ends up though?
So I know the Yankees have maybe expressed a little interest in him. He's still that guy that can maybe be a little scrappy and play left side of the infield, whatever you need. And he's obviously has connections in that organization. But I'm going to go a different route. I think the Padres are a really good fit for him. I think with Bogarts being the way he is, he can play short, and not that he would be the everyday shortstop. You're not looking for if I'm the pot like the Yankees might be looking for more of an everyday guy, and you're not going to get that for IKF. Padres, I don't think would be looking for an everyday guy, but you need to look at the left side of the infield in San Diego. A couple of older dudes, so maybe give Machado a half a day off and just DH, fulfill that position. He is a Gold Glove third baseman, IKF, but he has been playing a lot of short as of late. So you can give Bogarts a day off or two, which he does fucking need. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
Um,
he does need it.
and he does need that. So, and then he could play, if he needs to play second or, he can play first or outfield too. Like he's played fucking everywhere. He's a super
Mhm.
utility guy. He can fulfill a lot of holes there in San Diego. I think it's a good fit. He can kind of be a scrappy dude off the bench too, and add for a little bit of stolen base and maybe a pinch hitter, pinch runner. He could do shit like that if you need. So I think he's valuable in that sense.
So I went with another NL West team, and I went with the Giants for this guy.
Ooh.
The Giants were very interesting to me, especially after this whole Devers talk, because IKF can also play. They've obviously Willie Adames has not been what they paid for. I'm pretty sure he's batting under 200 and leading the league in errors right now.
Does he have that many errors? He's got his batting average up. I didn't know he was.
Has he? Okay, I didn't know that. But anyway, but still, he hasn't been what they paid for. Maybe give him a day off here and there. Second base, I think they have, what is it, Fitzgerald
Yeah.
at second. He hasn't been everything they've wanted as well. Maybe give him some time off. But now, who the fuck are they going to play at first base? Here you go, IKF, batting a solid 260 this year. Can fill in at that first base position. Shut Rafael Devers up for the year. Just leave Rafael at the DH position and just kind of roll with it. And once again, there's guys like maybe if you want to give Chapman a day off at third base, you're not really like Chapman's a great glove, but IKF also is as well. Play a lot of different positions. San Francisco definitely needs another bat. I think this would be a good fit for him.
Now, I would like any way that IKF can kind of be a second baseman. I think would be nice. So I think he's kind of built more like a second baseman, a guy who's played a
Mhm.
lot of short in recent years. To move over to second base, I think would actually be really nice for him. So I kind of like anytime he can play second, any team that can give him that opportunity, I think is nice.
Yeah,
But super utility is what he's going to be the sexiest turn on for him.
and the Padres they need him. You know, the Padres need him. The Giants need him. There's a lot of teams that could use him. Just a good utility guy. Um, Next on the list, this guy's a little bit more electric. Had a huge run in October a couple years ago when the Rangers won the World Series. Guy who lives for the moment, loves the lights. Adolis Garcia. Does he get traded? Do the Rangers move on from him? What are you thinking, Spin?
He's a guy that would certainly benefit from a change of scenery, and the Rangers kind of have to do something like pretty drastic. You know what I mean? And Adolis's last few seasons have not been good. I used to like Adolis. Now it's like, well, what the fuck, Adolis? What are we getting out of you? We don't even know. And at a certain point, we are going to know, and it ain't going to be pretty. So I kind of like Adolis, a nice change of scenery, and I like him in Milwaukee, where your buddy's
That's
at.
exactly where I had him. I had him in Milwaukee as well.
I think it just makes sense, right? They need that type of bat. He is a power guy. They have a lot of scrappiness on this team. Now he can be a little scrappy, but he's a big, strong motherfucker. He's fiery. He does live for the moment. I think a change of scenery is nice. I think being able to play for something, because right now in Texas, the last few years you haven't. Um, And Milwaukee is going to be competitive, right? And they're going to want to make a push. He wants that moment. He wants those lights. Why not?
That
He
so
wants
that
to, he wants
that
to go down the slide.
that's my biggest thing with him. He needs to go somewhere where they're like legitimately that he's playing in October. Because like if he's, I mean, I don't. He's not my favorite player by far, but what he did in October back in the day with the when the Rangers were making that run, him Seager, what they were doing, they let him all the way. So
Mhm.
this guy has done it. He's proven to do it. Give him a chance with somebody. Brewers need a bat. Bring him on in, man.
Yeah,
Brewers
put a guy who has a ring in that Brewers clubhouse. Might be good.
100%. Yeah, give them some. Give them something. They need to. The Brewers need to change something because they suck in October, and he might be a spark that they could give.
That's true.
What about our boy Andrew Heaney, baby, looking awesome this year so far. A lot of people need a lot of people need pitching, but
Yep.
where do you think his number one landing spot? Because I think he's getting traded too. I think he's
Yeah,
definitely in their rotation.
and I think he's, if I'm not mistaken, I think he's been kind of a trade deadline piece in the past. He's been
Yeah.
around. Um, Yeah, and he's a lefty arm who's not pitching awful, and that's going to be appealing to teams, right? You want to deepen your starting rotation. A lefty could be sexy. I don't really fucking know. I kind of want to say maybe the Dodgers, they've been super banged up in their starting rotation. I don't think he'll be terribly expensive to bring in, and that gives you a left-handed arm that maybe you can use in different areas. They do have some arms coming back, so I don't know. And he's had connections and ties with the Dodgers in the past, so maybe he goes back to Chavez Ravine and they try to bring in another lefty arm to never a bad idea to get pitching. I don't really know what else the Dodgers need in the postseason. So if they're going to do anything, it's going to be like these little cutesy little moves, like maybe a Heaney and a lefty arm. So maybe it's something like that. I don't really know though. That's the best I had for Heaney.
Heaney, I'm gonna go with. I mean, I think anybody notable right now is pitching wise has you have to have the Cubs in there. I think anybody because they know they need to go this year. They need and their biggest hole is their pitching. Um, and the back at the front end of it, awesome. You know what I mean. But then you do need a third, fourth guy come postseason. So I think they need to look at that a little bit. Or another team on the West. What about San Francisco again?
That's another team I thought of
Yeah,
just now.
like
Yeah.
they need to deepen their lineup as well. Their starting rotation if they want to make a run with some of these teams they're facing up against. So I think that's another good landing spot for him as well. Um, but I think he's definitely getting traded. I think the Pirates know they have guys coming up, and he's not going to be a part of it. Basically,
Yeah, I could see about staying in the NL, going west. I think San Fran's a good one. I don't even love the Padres pitching. I don't know if they're going to want to touch up on that. I know they just got Darvish back, but I don't think Cease is as good as people think. I don't think Pavetta is as good as people think. I guess Michael King's coming back soon. I don't know his status, but I think they could touch up some. I don't think a lot of people think of Padres when you think of them all on paper and their staff. I don't think we think of their pitching. I don't think it's never a bad idea to get more. So there's that too, but. Yeah, he could be a valuable piece for one of these teams. Deep in a staff, put a lefty arm, not bad.
so another guy who has been on the trade talks for a good amount of time here, almost ever since he came into the league. Um, Colorado Rocky Ryan. I always forget how to say his last name.
Ryan McMahon.
Yeah, Ryan McMahon. Another utility guy. He plays like three positions on the infield. I think every position in the infield besides short. Um, Kind of a down year this year. So, like, I think I'm looking at his stats right now. He's only hitting 208 on the year, 12 bombs, 26 ribbies. Nothing to shout home about. Does he get traded? Do the Rockies finally move on from him? Where's kind of your head at when it comes to him? He is 30 now.
So this is was he 30 now? Yeah, so I mean the Yankees have looked into him in the past when they were trying to bring in a third baseman years ago, uh, or maybe even just last year. Like whatever. I know he's been having ties there. If you can't get Suarez, maybe you go back and entertain the Ryan McMahon conversations. I think they have been in cahoots with the Rockies with this guy, but I don't like him there. I think the Angels might make a splash with him. I don't hate him to LA. I think the Angels are kind of in the position to bring in guys like this. They have been for a while now. They've always been making like these like low key sneaky bullshit moves. But this is a trade deadline where the Angels can certainly be buyers. I think they will be, and well, they should be. And yeah, I think a guy like McMahon, I don't think you have to give up a whole hell of a lot for, but he's a veteran. He's had success in the past. He was an All-Star last year. I think he could fit well in this Angels lineup to help deepen the lineup. I think one of their holes is third base, and I don't think they're going to be super all in this year. But you're starting to see the Angels trend in the right direction, and this trade deadline could actually set them up pretty good and for 2026. So why not McMahon go to Anaheim?
Yeah, I don't hate that one either. But I thought of the first team that actually came to mind with him would be using him as a rental for the Red Sox. We know that infield with people being hurt, Costas out, Bregman's out. They put down Christian Campbell. Story's old, like there's that infield's a little up in the air. So maybe why not just add another piece? A guy like you said who's had success in the past. He can play three of those positions that I just listed. Even though
I don't think he does though.
Are you
I
sure?
don't, I don't think he's the utility guy you're making him out to be.
I thought he played kind of like I thought he's played a little third, a little first, definitely the corners.
Well, third for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know if I guess he could play first if you're gonna make him if Boston wants to make him a first baseman. I actually don't really hate that, but I don't think I don't know if that's like a thing he does.
Okay. I thought he did in the past. Maybe I'm wrong. So maybe this is. But anyway, I'm going to go with the Red Sox. Kind of give them another little piece that they're going to need.
Why not? And if you do make him a first baseman, I don't hate that.
Yeah, true. Let's see who else is next. Oh, another guy, Cedric Mullins, outfielder for the Baltimore Orioles. Phillies have been in the talks for a lot of this guy. I don't fucking want him. I don't want him. I'll just be plain flat out. I think he's a good player, but I think he also has a lot of ups and downs. The Phillies don't need another guy that has a lot of ups and downs because we already have Brandon Marsh, Johan Rojas, and Max Kepler who all have a lot of ups and downs. So for the love of God, do not go get him. But do you think he's getting traded this year?
Yeah, I think if Phillies are makes the most sense for a landing spot for him. You kind of touched on it a little bit. I know they have those guys in the outfield, but listen, Mullins can give you a little bit of scrappiness on the bases. I think he's a better. I don't know if he's like if his defense is like that much better than the guys that you currently have. Like Rojas' big thing is his defense. That's the only reason I guess he'll even fucking play. But Mullins, I think, can give you that. I don't think the Phillies are like this scrappy on the base pass team. I don't think so. I think Mullins can give you that lefty bat. I think he does bring some stuff to the table and give him something to play for. Maybe this is a good environment for Cedric. He's hitting 211 though, so what are you gonna do? By the way, McMahon was hitting like 208. So
Yeah, true. That's another one. I mean, I don't really know where he'd land. I don't know who's going to want anything from him. When I looked up Cedric Mullins last, the only other team besides the Phillies was the Astros, which I couldn't really wrap my head around. With Jake Myers and Cam Smith out there, maybe you throw him in left and move Altuve back to second. But I don't know if they want to do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and maybe just to have four guys outfielders in a rotation because one of their holes this year was outfield. That's why Altuve even moved out there.
Mm-hmm.
And also they need lefty bats, so maybe that's part of it.
Yeah, so maybe it would be a good landing spot for him. But he had a great start to the year and has just not looked all that good. So, I mean, the Orioles aren't really going to get a whole lot for him, I don't think, unless a team's an idiot and gives up a ton for him. But this next guy, I think, is the more interesting one for the Orioles, which I definitely think he's going to go as well. But Ryan O'Hearn.
Oh yeah, you know what I like him?
He's the bigger one. I think there's going to be a lot of teams who are in talks for him.
And he's a little older, but he's a left-handed bat. I guess he's more of a DH, but he could play first.
Mm-hmm.
I think he checks off a lot of boxes that Seattle would need.
Yeah, that's. So I had two for him, Seattle, and then I have the Giants again. I had the Giants for a lot of these guys because they got a lot of holes in their lineup.
And the Giants are going to be aggressive. They already were, so
yeah.
It makes sense that the Giants are going to be all in. I think Seattle has to be a little bit all in. They need we've been talking about this forever, and it's no secret that maybe a lefty bat to bat somewhere in the middle of this lineup, maybe lefty, and just a first baseman or a DH or a corner outfielder or someone that can give you a little bit of spunk and power and maybe be a lefty, whatever. But to me, Rowdy Tellez isn't the answer, right? Like,
Hmm.
so O'Hearn can. I think he would do that. I think he could. I think he could bounce around from a first base. I don't think he plays a lot of first, but I think he could bounce around from first to DH on this team the days he does it, because I think he could maybe. I don't know who their other DH is. Maybe like Mitch Garver, who's a righty. So if
Yeah.
that's a platoon job at first, I mean at DH, if that's like a platoon, I don't think nobody wants to share time, but he kind of does sometimes. O'Hearn, he's obviously put a name for himself this year that you need him in the lineup. But like, if he's kind of bouncing around from DH, or maybe he plays first at a certain point, I just think those are the things that Seattle needs, and he'll be a good bat to hit maybe behind Cal Riley or whatever the fuck it is.
Yeah. So I think all of your points to the Mariners are very good. Get Cal Riley some protection in that lineup. That would be a great person to do it. But the reason I'm leaning more towards the Giants is, one, the Mariners have not really been huge in the trade talks and trade deadline and making splashes and everything. Now, granted, they've never had a pitching staff this good. They've never had a player this good as well. So who knows? It could change it. Well, don't want to say ever. They obviously had Griffey when he was younger, but like recently, as of late. And then you have, but the reason I say Giants is because Posey obviously is not done. And now with this new news, I think they thought their answer at first base was going to be Devers. It looks like it fucking isn't. So I think O'Hearn makes a lot of sense because, like you said, they could split time. They could even split time there, like first base, DH, like switching back and forth kind of thing. O'Hearn, they obviously need another bat to compete out there in the West. So I think the Giants are a good landing spot for him.
I like it. It puts give them another lefty bat if that's what they even need. So there's that.
Yeah.
Um, so this is another guy. So you touched on him, not him, but when you were talking about Adolis Garcia, and you kind of said he's a guy that I think plays better under the bright lights and give him something to play for. He can really ignite. This next guy is I've been saying the same thing about.
Luis Roberts.
Yeah,
Luis
baby.
Roberts Jr. White Sox, another guy who's been in trade talks for a long time now. Is he banged up right now still?
Oh, that's a good question.
I think he is. But this is another one that the Phillies have been attached to.
No, I mean, he's hitting 185. If that's what you mean by banged up. But no, but he's the last few games he's played. I guess he came up. He was on the IL for maybe a week or so, maybe 10-day thing.
Yeah, I think he was on the 10-day. But this is another. I mean, it's not. He doesn't just do it at the plate. He's going to steal you some bags. Got a little power behind him. Hasn't been there this year. But who knows? Maybe a change of scenery, like we said with some of these guys. Change of scenery might be good for them. Show them maybe they'll be the player they are in the past. Phillies have been in talks with them. I don't fucking want them for the price they're asking for him. You know what I mean? I don't want to give up what to get back what I think I'm going to get from him. With that being said, I think a team like the Padres might go after him. Deep in that outfield a little bit, a righty bat, good on the base path as well, as we talked about. But even like actually reading something right now I looked him up because I haven't heard a lot about him in trade talks as of late. So this guy listed the Mets, and I think that's kind of interesting as well.
That is interesting. I think wouldn't be a bad third or fourth outfielder for them.
Yeah,
See
because like
how much he's worth.
Nimmo's been playing well this year. Soto's obviously out there now. Who's their third?
It's like maybe a platoon job. I mean, Starling Marte's there. Tyrone Taylor's there.
They have Jeff out there as well.
Oh, maybe sometimes Jeff.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Jeff's playing a little outfield too.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
he's up in the air for me.
Yes. So I think he stays in Chicago because that's the other thing. So I think teams are going to entertain him, but you did make the point. What the White Sox are asking for is just going to be what the fuck. He's hitting 185. So I think maybe teams will entertain him and try to get him now where his stock is still low, invest in him now. But I think the White Sox are going to want a little bit more, and right now they're not really in a position to be asking for a whole hell of a lot from him. I don't think teams are going to want that. So I think he's similar to Sandy. I think Sandy could go, but because he's a pitcher, I think that's a little bit more valuable. But similar to my case with Sandy, like maybe hold on to him for another year and try to get his trade stock up and get more for him. A year from now at that next deadline. I think they're going to be inclined to do that. But I don't hate the Yankees get him either. But it has to be for the right price. And I also think a huge reason is because a change of scenery is going to be good for him. I think the best thing for him is a change of scenery. Get the fuck out of there and start playing for something. And I think we'll start to see him turn around.
Yeah. And then another guy, last one actually that they talked about, the 10th guy on the list, Eugenio Suarez. He's been interesting. He's come to life here in trade talks a lot recently, and a lot with your team, the Yankees. He makes a whole lot of sense for the Yankees, dude.
A whole lot of sense. So he's the second All Star that we talked about. O'Hearn being the first. So out of the 10 guys, 2 of them are All Stars, and I think Suarez is probably the more interesting one. I
Yeah,
don't know. Suarez has like 20 fucking something, 26 to 28 home runs, whatever he's got, and the Yankees make a whole lot of sense, right?
they need him. I think the Yankees are the clear cut one with him.
The only thing that scares me with him is that he's the same fucking player that they always get. I'd love this, but 251, whatever. He does have 29 homers, 75 ribbies, so that's nice. The homers and ribbies are there. A right-handed bat be nice, probably behind Judge or behind Bell, whatever the fuck they're gonna do. But in the middle of the lineup, nonetheless. Yeah, be nice. He is kind of a big strikeout guy and a big homer guy. Sometimes I like to get away from that, but maybe it's not the end of the world this year.
So some other notables that we wanted to touch on. These weren't in the article, but some guys who make sense that we might see move. You got Bednar and Santana over there in Pittsburgh. I think that there a lot of people need bullpen arms. Pirates are looking to get younger. Could go out and get them. Johan Duran for the Twins. The Twins suck. We all know the Twins suck. People need closers. So also another closer, Clase. Clase has been on the talks for a while now. Guardians suck. They're not good. Fuck you, Cleveland fans. Also, Clase has been talked with getting packaged with Stephen Kwan as well,
Wow.
which I'd be really sad if that happened because Jose Ramirez really would dwindle, and I'd feel really bad for Jose Ramirez. Also, been on the talks is what Kansas City wants to do, and maybe getting rid of Seth Lugo. As
Oh,
little older, little older. They're not gonna. I don't think they're gonna do anything this year. Maybe trying to get rid of. Actually, they're number 2 in the Central right now.
look at them climbing, baby. 2 games under, 7-3 in their last 10, 4-game win streak. That's what we need, KC. That's a team I knew. I always believed in them too. Come on.
But then also, the last one being this is a big one and a big if because the Red Sox have looked very good as of late. I think they're on a 6-game win streak, gained 2 in the last 10. But Jaron Duran his name's been getting tossed around out there too. But I think he's more of a Boston wants him to be the face kind of thing instead of him getting shipped.
I don't think he gets shipped now that Devers did, though. That's the other thing.
Yeah,
I
I
think
would love to. Jaron Duran's my favorite player right now. That's a non-Philly, so I would love to see him in a Phillies uniform, but it won't happen.
you want to get his jersey.
Yeah, it won't. It
Well,
won't.
what about I think relievers are important to mention. You mentioned like at least 3 of them there. Finnegan, Helsley, McGill for the
Yeah,
Brewers, Fairbanks, Mason Miller. I think all those guys are going to be kind of somewhat sexy now. McGill maybe not because the way Milwaukee's playing, you're gonna need a closer for the
yeah.
way they're at. I could see St. Louis and Helsley. I don't know. Finnegan and the Nationals probably yes because they look like shit. He's a little older. Teams are going to see value in him. We'll see what Fairbanks looks like, but Tampa Bay is playing really good ball. Mason Miller might. They can get a lot for him. He's still young, not having the greatest season, but we know that he can do. So guys like that, I think, are going to be interesting to see what teams are going to do and entertain because pitching matters. So closers are going to matter.
Brewers are only 1.5 games back right now.
Yeah, I think you want to keep McGill, right? You're good. I think you want to keep him. I can see Fairbanks staying because these guys are in playoff contention. But I can see Helsley going. I don't know that they part ways with him. I know St. Louis isn't out of it, but how far do they? Well, I guess we'll have to see these next few weeks. See what happens. If for the right price, why not? If it sets you up for the
Exactly.
future.
That's that. It all depends on where these guys are at the deadline and what the front office is thinking. Because we can't tell if the front office wants to make like compete this year or look towards the future. We can't decide that for them.
Well, this
I
is a
think
good transition then
yeah,
to this one because we have a handful of guys here, teams here, maybe upwards of 10 on this list that I do think are going to be buyers in some way, shape, or form. But where do they value themselves? Are they all in? I'm trying to win a pennant, or are they kind of like maybe yield to the side of caution, but set ourselves up for the future? So there's some teams that we put together here.
yeah.
Uh,
So I think we're kind of idiots because with all those starting pitchers we took, the 2 starting pitchers we talked about, We didn't mention Toronto at all, and they
Yeah.
need it, and they need it. They need starting pitching, so that would be a good one. Do they go and do it though? Is the question.
Oh, here's a side note, really quick. I don't know if you saw this, but Brian Reynolds had like a no trade clause, and he
Yeah,
said it's like Yankees, Mets, Blue Jays, Dodgers, Giants, Padres. Those are the teams I don't want to go to.
yeah.
And then everyone's like, "Well, does he not want to win?" I saw a guy on TikTok. He was like, "Well, what do all those cities have in common? High income tax." So he just doesn't want to do that shit, but he still could win. What team is like needs outfield help that doesn't have any income tax or whatever? Houston Astros. He's making the case
Oh,
that Reynolds goes to Houston. That's just a little side note. We'll see what happens.
did you
But
see?
yeah,
I
go
might have
ahead.
got faked out by this, but hold on. Let me see. Let me fact check real quick. Let me fact check. I might have been wrong. It might have been a someone saw that Evan Longoria went at Brian Reynolds for that list.
I heard that too. Was
I
that
don't
was
know.
that true or
I
false?
don't know if it's true though.
I saw that too. I saw the same thing, and it was like this guy doesn't want to win, and then he was like, "Easy there, big fella." Or so, he said something like that. He responded to it.
Yeah, I don't. I don't think it's. I
Keep
don't
it
think it's
moving.
actually.
Keep it
I don't think
moving.
it's
Good
true.
stuff.
I think it was another fake one.
Well, anyway, Toronto. Yeah, we could have mentioned Toronto a little bit more. They're a first place team. They're 9-1 their last 10, and they show no signs of stopping. 54 wins, which actually makes them a really good team. So yeah, I mean, Toronto's gonna be looking to do something. They're gonna go all in, and that's where I have them at right now. They're obviously they're buyers, but all in buyers, all in. You know, they want to continue to gain ground on these teams because the Yankees and Tampa Bay will be on their tail. AL. I still think Detroit and Houston are the two best teams in the AL. Record wise, they are, but they're the two forces to be reckoned with. If Toronto wants to compete with them, and chances are you have to go through those types of teams to win a pennant. If Toronto sees themselves as that team, yeah, all in Toronto. That's where I see them at the deadline.
I agree. This one has been the talk of the talk. We talked a lot about them. St. Louis.
Yeah.
They're
So
really
buyers, to me, they're buyers, but more so with caution. Right? They're not
yeah.
going all in the same way that Toronto is. With caution, you still want to be able to have a good core and have your young guys. You're seeing a lot of success with your pitching staff and your young guys. You're seeing it this year, but you kind of want to keep. I think you want to keep the band together. You have to bring in some things. If you deepen a staff, if you bring in some pieces offensively, if you do something with your bullpen, maybe you sell Helsley, but you get some guys in return. You know, because Helsley could be a hot commodity. You could probably get a lot for him. I don't know who else they're really looking to deal, but you're starting to see some things coming to fruition with St. Louis. Keep a lot of it together because it's proven to work, but you do need some pieces. Buy with caution. Don't get
Don't
rid of
ship out
anybody.
too much. I think that's the best way to put it. Boston.
They're a buy with caution for me too.
Yeah.
I think you want to keep a lot of these young guys together. If they are going to bring in somebody, let's see what they do. I know you mentioned McMahon, and maybe he becomes a good corner infield for them or a first baseman. Uh, maybe I also don't hate the guys like Rummy Gonzalez and Abraham Toro who've been playing the corners really well. Marcelo Myers starts bouncing around. So you want to kind of keep these young guys because they've proven to have success. But what do? Maybe you touch up on the bullpen. Maybe you do some more stuff to the pitching staff. Maybe Durant has to wake up, and if he becomes your face, it sets you up for the long term. But you got to buy with caution. Start to make changes, but don't deal away your young guys because they're invested a lot in the young guys.
I 100% agree. I don't think you move anybody on that on the in the lineup. Maybe Story, because I know Campbell and Meyer both played a little shortstop coming up.
If you can even move Story, I don't even know if they can.
Exactly. You got to wind in your starting pitching. That's I think you buy, but with extreme caution. That team has to be careful because they could screw it up in a heartbeat because they have in the past.
Yeah, they have.
Next one, what central team of Cincinnati.
Cincinnati, I think it's another buy with caution team. Like we're starting to see under Terry Francona, they have the right management. Like that's there. They're one game above 500. Not bad. We've seen them be good this year. We've seen them be weird this year. They're interesting, but another team that has a good young core. Buy with caution. You have some good guys in your rotation. In a perfect world, when Hunter Green is healthy, he's a true ace for you. You start to get good starts out of Abbott. You get Chase Burns and develop him well. Really good big three. You need more in the pen, so do shit along those lines. Try to get deeper as a lineup. But you have the core. You have the core. You have three stud pitchers when healthy, and we like to believe with Chase Burns, but he continues to develop, and he adds to that. I think buy with caution. I don't think you're all in this year, but I do think you can set yourself up well for the future if you do play your cards right at this deadline.
I actually don't think they do a single thing.
Ooh,
I don't think they do anything. I think Cincinnati is going to basically be content with where they're at. Let these young guys develop a little bit more. Let the pitching staff get some more starts under their belt, and then next year they make a splash.
okay.
But I see where you're coming from. You don't want to pass up a good opportunity when you have the talent on your team. If you can go get somebody and you can lock them up in a contract wise, that's the thing. Like, you don't want to buy a one stop shop kind of guy.
Oh no, yeah, that's not what they're doing. But to see who they can get at the deadline, and I don't even know who they would flip. Like I don't know, like is Gavin Lux the answer on this team? I don't know.
Austin Hayes,
Is Austin
yeah.
Hayes the answer on this team? Like maybe if teams want a lefty or a righty bat with some experience, I don't know.
Austin Hayes has been moved in the past too. Fuck you, Austin Hayes. Then we got Kansas City, your boys.
Oh, Kansas City. I think they buy and they buy big.
Really?
Oh, let's go Kansas City. And maybe this is just me talking because I like to see Kansas City. You say you have Milwaukee. Okay, I got Kansas City. All right. I like these guys. Okay. I think that they at the beginning of the year I thought they checked off so many boxes and they were gonna actually win this division. But they're 46-48, which is good enough for second place. 4-game win streak we talked about a while ago. This is a team I think if they can get their shit together, I think it's obvious what they need. The pitching staff, especially when Reagans comes back, I think is good enough to be a playoff team. We have Estevez and Urseg as the 8 and 9 guys. They have a decent 1 through 6. I still think that they need to go big in terms of getting a corner outfielder or some type of DH or some type of big bopper that they can put somewhere in this lineup. I still think they got to go big. Go big, bring in a big power hitter, bring in a corner outfielder that has pop, do something. Maybe they go get O'Hearn. I don't fucking know. Not that he's like this power hitter, but someone to deepen this lineup. Go big, Kansas City. I want them to do something. I think they're one move away from really having an offense that can really start kicking ass.
I like that. I like that. I think they buy with caution, but I would like them to make a splash because I would love to see Bobby win in October. He's electric. You like to see your best players in the league in October. So get him there. Make a play.
Get them there.
My team, my boys. Milwaukee. This one for me, I want to say they go, fuck it. They're going all in.
Nice.
They got the pieces this year. They've got Uribe as your setup. You got Miguel as your closer. You have some starting pitching finally, and Freddie Peralta is an all-star. Mizorowski, we don't know where he's going to go, but he's looking good right now. You have Chad Patrick as your third. Ken is a reliable third. He's not the best ever, but he's a reliable third. Get some lineup help. Reese actually just went out with an injury. You have Contreras behind the dish. Turang at second base. You have some veteran leadership in Yelich. Go get some guys. There's a lot of guys out there that are obtainable. Go get them.
Yeah, that left side of the infield, can't say I love it. I know they have that young guy Durbin. Maybe he's good for the future, but I don't know if I love Joey Ortiz as the shortstop on this team.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what really the shortstops are out there. We'll see what they look like in terms of making a big splash. I do think they have pitchers to deal. Quinn Priester. I always fuck that up, but he's been all right. But like maybe that was Logan Henderson's big thing, right? I know we always talk about Logan Henderson. We talk about Logan. Maybe it's me. We talk about Logan Henderson too damn much. But maybe him getting a little bit of major league experience, maybe does that make him sexy for teams? Does that make him appealing now that he's back in AAA? They don't see a fit for him. They've made moves in this pitching stuff already with Aaron Savali going to fucking White Sox or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I think for like Andrew Vaughn or some shit. So that helps both teams, I think. But yeah, I kind of see this both ways. I see it. Maybe you go a little with caution because you don't want to separate these guys. Whatever's happening right now has proven to work. So you don't want to go too crazy. But I could also see them going big because I think there are some notable holes. And if you go big and bring in an outfielder and maybe another infielder help, and you start to really check off boxes, maybe it never hurts to get more arms. And if they start doing all those things and they go really big, great. But they have a good little scrappy core. I don't want to fuck with it too much. So there's a little bit of caution, but also if you can make the right moves, I don't hate another outfield, Adolis Garcia. I don't hate some type of infield help and maybe another arm. That would really propel them.
I would like it because they're right on the Cubs right now, and I think they could take first place if they make some moves and the Cubs don't get the pitcher they need to.
It is their division, though.
Technically, yeah.
Milwaukee.
Technically, it is. Wow, that's wild to think about. But Next, this is an interesting one. The Angels, because there's no way they're going all in. But for once in their sad little lives, they finally have some young guys they can count on.
Yeah,
And so for me, it's a buy with caution because I think they want to surround themselves with some people. They see that you have Neto, you have Ohapi. Ward is now showing some promise as well. Do you think? Do you think that this is where they go? They maybe go get somebody, get some relievers, get a starting pitcher, somebody on the market.
yeah, and you know what? I think Joe Adell's kinda come into his own a little bit better too.
Has, yeah, he
So
has,
good
yeah,
for you, Joe Adell. And when you mentioned, so when you mentioned a guy like Adell, who's maybe an outfielder, specifically a center fielder, cool. You look at a shortstop in Neto, cool. You have a catcher now. But you're starting to kind of like strike in the, maybe strike gold in some very notable positions. You throw Trout, who's a veteran, in the mix. I don't know if you have a face per what Dias Trout is, but I don't know if you have like Trout is like the Salvi Perez, where who's the Bobby Witt? You know what I mean?
yeah,
Maybe it's, but so it's you. Where's that young superstar? I think it's a handful of guys, but Taylor Ward is a raw power guy in the middle of this lineup. You check off that box. Sean Uell is a really good raw hitter. You start to check off that box. What else do you need? So I do think you buy. I think you want to keep your all the names that we said. You want to keep. I think Ben is his name. Ben Joyce. He might be their closer for the future when because Kenley I don't think lasts all that long. He's older now, might be on a 1 year deal. So Joyce becomes, I think he could fulfill that role. You have a young guy for the back end of the rotation. You need pitching still. You say hasn't been bad. So I do think that the holes are notable. I think you want to buy. You want to be aggressive with caution. You're not all in, but you can be a little bit aggressive and make a splash. Maybe you got a second baseman, a third baseman, some more guys in that offense. Or sorry, second base. They have a young guy too.
yeah. Christian Moore. I was actually just about to bring him up because that's another guy they like. He struggled a little bit, but when he came up, he was electric. He's on the IL. He's banged up a little bit now, but they have some notable young guys now. Finally, do
So,
not trade all of them for the
and
love of God.
if the big hole is a third base or possibly a DH type, yeah, I mean there's that, and then you want to touch on stuff for your rotation, and I think that they have guys to sell in that rotation too.
They do. Oh, 100%. Yeah. So I don't think you go all in because I think you buy with caution. You don't get rid of any of your notable young guys. Like you said, they've at some good positions. They finally have some people. You think
Yep,
about your three most important positions on the field: probably catcher, shortstop, and center field. With Adele, Neto, and Ohapi, those are three solid guys. Don't get rid of them.
yep, I agree. Make a splash though, but
Yeah.
you're not all in, and you are someone with cautious, but make a splash.
Spend some freaking money. Well, actually, they've never been afraid to spend some money. Maybe they can finally get rid of Rendon.
They just do it on the wrong people. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But then you get to the Texas Rangers. Interesting fucking team.
I might be in the minority with this one. I say buy and buy big, Texas.
No, dude.
I'm in the minority here. I know. I thought I was.
Well, actually, I can see where you're coming from because you don't know how many more years you're going to get out of DeGrom. Seager's kind of getting up there in age a little bit as well. Like some guys around the diamond are a little older. They don't really have a whole lot of young talent if your name's not Kumar Rocker or Jack Leiter. Um, Yeah, I kind of see where you're coming from with that because you were like, we don't have many years left on these contracts. Don't know how many more years we're going to get out of these guys. We have to go get some pieces. Maybe not for this year, but maybe for next year.
Yeah, I mean, but still, they can still exhale because they did just win a World Series with a lot of these guys a few years
Yeah.
ago. So they do have the ability to exhale and maybe try to set themselves up for long term. I just think that they are really talented on paper, and they just haven't played it with it this year. And I think if they can bring in some pieces, if Adolis goes by Adolis, and maybe that they have got, I don't know who they could even sell realistically besides Adolis. And if he goes to Milwaukee, who are they getting in return? Because they need bullpen help and a lot of it. I still will value Langford and maybe the Evan Carters of the world in the outfield.
Ah, shit. I forgot about those two.
And I don't even hate Josh Jung. I
Yeah.
think they just
Jung just got sent back down.
who did?
Jung got sent back down again.
Did he? Wow.
Yeah.
So I don't hate some of these guys. I think they're on paper they're super talented. They're only 3 games under. If they can, I mean, how good was Detroit at the fucking All-Star break last year? I don't know if they were like the first place. I think if you get hot at the right time, especially in the American League, they're not crazy. They're almost too talented not to. I think if they can really make a splash and show some urgency and give these guys a kick in the ass, maybe things start to turn around. I think their pitching staff is playoff ready. I think they're between Seager and Semien. Maybe there's reason to believe Semien can turn it around. I mean, Langford can be at the helm of the young guys. I still think there's pieces here. I still think there's life. But we'll have to see it, I guess, after see how they look. If there's one more series before the All-Star break, if they still look like shit and if they go more under 500, because right now they're 3 games under. If they go more under 500 and you start to get closer to the deadline and they still look like shit, then you got to say fuck it. But I don't think it's too late for them. Maybe I'm overly optimistic.
I think you make a good point with the talent. I think that's a very good point. They have talent, and I completely forgot about Langford, and I'm a big Langford fan. I like him. I think he's going to be a good little ball player. Good ball player. And then Evan Carter also is pretty damn good, and I love Corey Seager. Even though
Yeah.
he's hurt all the time, I think when he's playing, he's awesome.
I think he's starting to wake up too, and that he's almost like you talked about Harper waking up, and that
Yeah,
helps that whole. That's Seager to this team, but not to mention they've lost a lot of games late in the games. Like I mean, the offense has been quiet, but they've also lost games because the bullpen. If they can win more games from the pen, maybe we're actually seeing them as like a third place 500 team if they're not blowing so many games. We can make that's a big if. A lot of teams you could say that, right? But the Phillies could, if the Phillies didn't blow games out of the pen, they'd have 60 fucking wins. You know what I mean? Like, so like that's a big if. But I'm just saying, like, if I mean, say they've blown 10 late games from the bullpen, Texas, and this is a made up number, but but out of those 10, say they win half of those, that puts them at 50 and 48. That's a second place fucking team. Like, if they can really touch up on the pen and start cleaning it up, maybe we're looking at a whole different team. And if they start to get a little aggressive around this time, maybe it's not too late. I don't know. Again, maybe I'm overly optimistic.
just hope you just gotta hope with Texas the talking points aren't like Langford Carter. You know what I mean? I think
Yeah.
you are willing to move
I'm not
on,
mad at Carter. I don't. I think I can sell Carter.
but I mean, like you want. I think you would want it to be more around Garcia and bring in a
Yeah.
reliever.
Yeah,
Kind
yeah, yeah. That's
of,
true. And I hope you get a good haul for Garcia.
yeah, exactly. Like maybe a position player and a reliever if you could. Maybe IKF and a little Dennis Santana or a little David Bednar.
Yeah, what if it was
That'd be a good little move for them. Anyway, we'll move on to the next one. San Diego.
So this is a hard one, right? Are they buy with caution? Or are they all in? You can make a case here.
I think they need to be all in.
I'm okay with that.
I think they need to be all in. I think they need to go get a bat. They need to go get another reliever, and I think they need to start. They need when they have Tatis and Machado on your team, and Jackson Merrill's shown promise as well. You have 3 studs. You cannot waste years with guys like that. Machado's been a generational player. Tatis is a generational player, and it's looking like Merrill's going to be damn good and an all-star here to come.
Yeah.
You cannot waste years with those guys.
Yeah, I think all in's the right move. So I'm okay. I think you can make a case either way. After you said that, I think I'm more so convinced. Like I'm going all in. And another big part of it is, and this is the reason they kind of make this list, in terms of like these, what the fuck do these teams do? To me, they're the biggest what the fuck, because between Cease and King and Arias and I don't even know who else, all on like this is all contract years for them.
Yeah,
They'll be free agents. I don't think they re-sign all of them. So if you want value for these guys, just sell them now and
true.
then try to be good long term. But I don't think they do that. I think you got to. I think you got to go all in now and try to win while you still have these guys. And I don't think they're gonna win, and then they're gonna lose all those guys, and they're not gonna be good again. So they're gonna be a clusterfuck team. They're in a bad position, I think.
I know Cease, you might be able to get more than what you think because his name's Dylan Cease, and I think he's got like over 120 strikeouts on the year. His ERA sucks.
Yeah, but I
He's
don't think they're
got a
gonna
lot of
sell him.
hitters.
I don't think
What's
they're
that?
gonna sell him though. I just
Yeah.
don't think they sell him.
I mean, Arias, maybe he'll be moved. I mean, he's been moved before, and we've seen a lot of people aren't very big on a little contact taking guy. But then also, this is another weird team, Seattle. Their pitching staff's unbelievable. They have arguably the MVP right now. That's if Judge isn't in the league, it's obviously Cal Riley. What do they do?
Well, what do they do? What they should do might be different things because we talked about Seattle maybe not being the team that makes huge splashes. But if they do buy, well, they should buy, and if they go big, O'Hearn's a really good one. And if they go big, they could really propel themselves. They're not terribly out of it right now. Where are they in the wild card? They are.
They're in the wild card right now. If they
They're,
would be in the playoffs right now.
if the season would end today, they would. Boston on their tail, but I think it could really propel themselves. I think it could put them closer to kind of where Tampa Bay and the Yankees are, and kind of separate them for kind of where Boston and Kansas City are. You know, those teams with like 46 to 49 win range compared to teams that have 50 plus wins. That's the difference, I think, of where they can separate themselves. And what conversation do you want to be in if you're Seattle? Do you want to be with the big boys or do you want to be with the teams on the cusp? Because right now, that's what they have to be thinking. Let's take that next leap. This is a good deadline for them. But do they? I don't know. It's evident what they need, though.
I don't have any faith in them to actually do it. That's why I think they should go all in because you only this a pitching staff like this only comes around every once in a while. And when you have also what Cal Riley's doing, that comes around even less than a pitching staff like they have. You have like two great things happening all at once. You need to put it together. I just have zero faith in their front office to actually do it.
But do you think that? I mean, what should they do?
All in. I
Yeah.
think they should go all in. They have an MVP right now with a pitching staff that's arguably one of the best in the league.
You know what they might be thinking if we do a little bit, because I can't see them doing nothing, right?
Yeah.
So if they do something, maybe their big offseason move isn't a move at all. It's doing little cutesy bullshit, touching this up, bringing in a gay little arm, you know what I mean? And doing cutesy little things, and you're doing like these little things, and uh, maybe their big thing is saying, okay, well, when J Rod comes back, well, not when he comes back, but if he can figure it the fuck out, he can be like an MVP candidate. He does have that ability. So maybe that has and he's an all star, weirdly enough, this year. Not that I
Yeah.
don't know if he deserves it, but J Rod maybe being in mid season form and figuring his shit out, maybe is going to have the feel of a big move because they've been over 500 really without him being as productive as he could be. So he starts to be a massive contributor. Well, maybe that has the feel of a big trade deadline move. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm not banking on that though. Like I still think you got to go make some big fucking thing.
Yeah, like they have talent. Like Randy Rosarena, Jorge Polanco's there. Riley Torres really ain't shit. JP Crawford's good defensively, and he's batting 287 on the year. So I mean, it's not like they don't have guys. They just need another notable bat. And I mean, you got like arguably one of the best closers in the league.
Yeah, probably the best.
So like you have pieces. Go fucking get somebody.
Yeah, they do. They do check. They got a lot of good. There's a lot of good, and they got to add to the list of good things because I don't. It could be more. It could be more because like where they're good, they're like really good, but then that's it.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. So enough of the trade deadlock. Should we get back to the All Stars and do our little draft here?
I've been waiting all fucking day for this one, baby.
So how do we just want to go 1-1-1-1, or should we go 1-2 picks back to you?
No, I don't think we should. I don't think we should snake it with two people.
All right,
Let's
we'll
get
rock
this.
paper scissors for first pick.
Okay.
Ready? Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Fuck. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Fuck.
Let's go. I needed that, dude. I needed that.
All right, jackass.
All right, here. Let me. You know what we'll do? I'm gonna write it in this fucking thing. You can have the top one.
All right, sounds good.
I'll go down here. So for the first pick of the All-Star draft, this is where we draft All-Stars. Oh, by the way, side note, Joe Ryan is available.
Okay.
If it comes down to it, I'm gonna take a DH off the rip and go Shohei Ohtani.
Wow, really?
My first pick of the draft, baby.
All right, I'm gonna go with Judge.
Okay, here, make sure you write your shit in. I'm gonna go Cal Riley behind the dish.
Fuck. Now it's like, so those are the top three obvious ones.
Yeah.
Now it's kind of like a little bit all over the place.
I agree. I figured it would go something along these lines.
Yeah, give me You know what? Fuck it. Give me PCA.
Okay. I'm gonna take Jose Ramirez then.
Good pick. Good fucking pick. I'm gonna go with give me Cattell at second.
Yep, that's a good one too. I figured that those would be the next cast of dudes right there. Okay. Whew, okay, this is where it's gonna get a little tough.
It's about to get sweaty in here.
Okay, I'm gonna go. Give me Bobby Witt Jr.
Oh, oh, okay. I'm gonna go with Acuna.
Okay. I'm gonna go Tarek Skubal.
Okay. All right. There's a
First
lot of
pitcher.
pitchers, so I don't want to go pitcher yet. There's a lot of
I just
pitchers.
wanted to secure a guy. I just
Yeah.
wanted to secure a guy.
Um. Damn. I will go. You know what? Fuck it. I'll go pitcher two. Give me Wheeler.
Oh, all right, all right. This might pitching might be turned into a pissing contest because I kind of want to do something here, but I also need too many things. Okay, then I need an outfielder. Give me Kyle Tucker.
Okay. Yeah, I already have my outfield. That's the thing.
Oh, you had
Shorts.
all three. Shit, I thought you needed one more. Fuck.
No, I'm good. I'm good on outfield.
That's if I fucked up then.
Damn. All right. I wanna be true to myself right now and go Jacob Wilson, but I think I'm gonna go Ellie instead.
Okay, so we both didn't take the starting shortstops.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with Ellie. Even though I think Jacob Wilson deserves to start, like his average and him being a rookie, that's awesome. But
Yeah.
I think Ellie's had a phenomenal year.
Well, I think the best shortstops on the draft board are the two we took.
Yeah, and Trey Turner's not even there, and I would have taken Trey over all of them if I'm being
Um,
honest.
and I respect Jeremy Pena. He's on the draft
Yeah,
board
same.
too.
Well, he's not there anymore technically.
But you could take him.
Yeah.
He'll still be known as an all-star. That's how I looked at this.
Okay. Yeah. True. True. Yeah.
Um, okay. I think we both need first base. Who are we gonna go with? I'm gonna go Paul Skeens though.
Okay. So Tariq and Paul. Damn. That's a good fucking starter. Um, give me. I'm gonna go with Josh Hader.
Okay, first closer off the board. We're taking two closers, right?
Yeah.
Okay. First closer off the board, or first reliever. All right. Still need a first base. First base is gonna be fucking hard, man.
I know.
I was gonna take the one that you didn't.
Because whoever you don't take, I'm gonna take.
Yeah, I think there's a clear cut two, or at least in my mind, maybe three. I can't wait for you to take Alejandro Kirk in a little bit. Okay, give me James Wood.
Oh, good. That's a damn good pick. God damn it.
You could argue he went far in this
Yeah,
draft.
that's a good pick. I could have thrown him at DH in all honesty.
Yeah, there's a lot of you could put anyone at DH, you know. So
It's gonna rip my heart out. Oh, give me Pete.
Alonso. Okay.
Yeah.
So then, yeah, I mean that was. That's obviously one of the top two. I mean, I gotta be shopping around. I mean, you already have a second baseman, but I really don't know what the fuck I'm gonna do. I don't want Glaver.
Well,
I might.
Ketel was the number that I was trying to look at positions. Like, I don't know what I'm going to do for third base because, like, there's clear cut guys who don't really have a good necessary. Like, it's it drops off a ton. Like, third base drops off a ton after.
Yeah, so to say, I actually probably should have took Ketel over J Ram for that reason.
Yeah.
I think there's a better crop of third baseman, although J Ram stands above. There's not the crop of second baseman is fuck. I don't even know. Oh, okay, so there's him. Okay, whatever. We'll have a little fun with second base then. Give me Give me Garrett Crochet.
Fuck. That's it. All right, I'm gonna take Hunter Brown then.
Okay. I'm gonna take. Max Fried.
You fucking asshole. Um. DeGrom.
That's a good one. Okay. Give me. You took Hater already, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Give me Andres Munoz then for my
Yeah,
closer.
that was the. If I was gonna take another one, it was gonna be him. So I'm just gonna wait.
I had to. Yeah, I wanted to make sure I got a top two.
I guess I'll take Schwarbs at DH.
Yeah, it's a good one. If I didn't have Otani there, that's probably where I would have went. Give me another outfield spot, and I have a few directions. Few directions. Few directions. We have all the starters in the NL, all stars. There's only
Oh, do we
one.
already? No, we don't.
Oh no, I mean for the outfield.
Yeah.
You have PCA and Acuna. I got Tucker.
You don't have. There's yeah.
You have Judge. I have Wood. So there's actually I don't want fucking Baez. I don't think I want
Yeah.
Riley Green.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
I think if I'm getting an outfielder, it's coming from the NL, right? I might do it. Well, let's just hold on. Hunter Goodman can technically play outfield, but yeah, I don't think I don't think I want him. First base. Let me just get this one off. Give me Freddie.
Freddie. Okay. Yeah.
Got a lot of lefties on this team.
God damn. I'm gonna go pitcher.
So many good ones.
I know. I don't know who I want to take off the board next, man. Fuck. I'm gonna go with Sale.
Okay. I also don't know who I want to take off the board next. I thought you were gonna go with your boy Freddie. You know I love Brian Wu, but there's a guy I think I like a little bit more. He goes by the name of Logan Webb. I think I'm gonna take him.
All right. So you took Webb, so I'm gonna take Wu or I'm gonna take Bubich. I don't know which one I want. Or Yamamoto. No, you know what? I'm gonna take Yamamoto.
Yeah, so I was thinking him too. That's good for like the fans. The fans really like Yamamoto. What do you still need? There's 3 more?
Yeah, I need a relief pitcher, a third baseman, and a catcher.
Okay, well I'm procrastinating second. Joe Ryan was on this, by the way. We didn't take Joe. Oh, okay. I might take a reliever here. Who do I want? Ugh, the 2 best guys are gonna be to the Chapman or Edwin Diaz, and it's like, who do you? I guess I'll take Edwin Diaz. I hate that.
He's been good.
But yeah, you know what? You took Pete. We both have a Met.
Yeah, I'm not taking any more Mets. Is there any more Mets even there? I don't think so.
Unless you want Lindor.
Catcher, I'm going Will Smith.
Okay, naturally. Okay, second base. I'm gonna take my buddy here. I think. You know what? No, I'm gonna put Jacob Wilson at second. No, you can't do that. You can't do that. I don't think you can do that. I'm taking Jazz Chisholm though at second.
Okay.
I think he's the next best thing. Right? Is he the next best thing?
I would assume so. Who else is at second base? Glaber. I mean, Glaber's had a good year, but
Jazz has more pizzazz.
Jazz does have more pizzazz. And then, last but not least, I need a relief pitcher. Damn, they suck. I'll go with Aroldis.
Okay.
2 lefties.
Ooh, a lefty pen, lefty dominated pen. See, I should have took Aroldis so I could have a lefty and a righty.
Yeah, I didn't think about that.
Okay. Yeah, not that these guys are gonna play. Okay, so I get one more outfielder. Riley Green's, I don't want him. I'm thinking either Tatis or Corbin Carroll. I don't want Buxton. I don't want Quan. I don't want if I wish J-Ro was playing better. Probably would lean him. Tatis or Corbin. Tatis or Corbin. It'd suck if either of them went undrafted. I don't really know. Tatis or Corbin, to me, they're the same fucking guy.
They have very similar numbers this year. It's who do you want? Do you want flair or do you want like little speeds? You know what I mean? Like if you want star power, it's Tatis.
Yeah, we're going. Yeah, let's go Fernando.
I think Carroll actually has better numbers though.
That's okay. I have 3 juniors on my team. I have Jazz, Bobby, and Tatis.
And then last but not least, Manny Machado. Manuel at third.
Oh, nice. Oh, yeah, so that was okay. I could have took Vladdy Guerrero Jr., then I would have had all the juniors. Fuck.
So if you're putting a lineup together with your team, right? Who goes where? So mine off the cuff, right? This is just looking at my lineup. I want Ellie in the leadoff spot. I want Kittel batting 2 switch hitters to start off the day. We love that. Then I want Judge in my 3-hole. Judge, I want a lefty behind him probably. So I'll put Schwarber in 4. Go Acuna 5.
Whoa.
Oh, damn. I'm a righty-heavy lineup. Acuna at 5. Alonso at 6. Then to switch it up so there's not too many righties in a row, PCA at 7. 8 will be Manny. And then 9 will be Will Smith.
Okay, I got to go off the cuff. I'm going to go. I don't even know who the fuck I'd lead off. Okay, Bobby Witt leads off. He's a righty. Off the cuff is tough. It's tough off the cuff. 2 would then be Ohtani. He's a lefty. 3 would be J-Ram, switch hitter. Then I got Cal Riley, switch hitter. I might be too lefty at the bottom, but off the cuff, fuck it. It's off the cuff. Then I got to put Kyle Tucker, 5. Oh my gosh, I got a million lefties in a row. I got to separate them better when I do my switch hitters, but okay. Or lead off a lefty is what I'd have to do. But then I'll put, I guess, Freeman, lefty again. Then I'll put maybe Tatis, then like James Wood. Then I guess I have to end it with Chisholm.
Yeah. That's a healthy lineup.
Righty, lefty, switch, lefty, righty, lefty. I gotta figure it out better in terms of that. But off the cuff, that's something
who's
wrong
your
with.
Starter?
I got to start Scooble, baby. Big game pitcher, yeah. Scooble.
And I'm pitching Zach.
That's nasty. Anytime you see Manny Machado in the 8-hole, you know it's a good lineup. Anytime you see James Wood in the 8-hole, it's a good lineup.
It's a damn good lineup.
All right, well, we'll post those. Hey, everyone vote. See what you like.
215. That's the big. We had a lot to talk about, Spin.
We had a lot. I mean, you know what? All-star coverage is a motherfucker. You know? What are you going to do? All-star coverage is a motherfucker. But what, are we back tomorrow?
Yeah, we're back tomorrow, baby.
For our regularly scheduled Friday program, we're going to be posted back on the moment and tomorrow, the Wet Hot American Weekend.